You've got Joey Options, you've got Sharif. And what's on Sharif's t-shirt?
Mo Salah.
Oh, it is it's Mo Salah.
Mo Salah rolling down the wing. Salah, la, la,
Oh, we're
la.
on, man.
The Egyptian king. Boom! Greetings and salutations. Beautiful people. I don't like hearing myself echoing there. Welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I am Sharif. Where are my people at? We got Black Hawk in the chat, but he's the only person there in the chat except for you and myself, Joey. So we're gonna have to wait until you. I know, yeah, you and myself.
There.
So we're gonna have to wait. There we go. Now we got Matthew. We got fun with media. Bro, at least it loads, bro. I don't have to wait 20 minutes for that thing to load on yours. You should have seen how livid Neil was when he was using your computer. Shout out to AFB Unlimited. We got fun with Melina. Shout out to Juan Padilla. We got Jose. We got Pickle Chili. All right, Trade X Gibby, Jeremy Newman. Sorry, guys, all the names are skewed, so it takes me a little minute to read them. Jimmy B. We got Buvin, Kalua. Shout out to Kalua. Gray Worm.
Way to be back.
How about Justin? Something or another. Edgar. Palaciado, Jimmy, Joe, Smith, we got Casey, Doyle, Andrew, we got, who else? Tracer Austin, Mark Perkins, Nick, Disco 22, and KC526, Trump Power, all right, 420 Bud Monster, right back at you, baby. Glaze 94 already coming in fast and furious with that super chat. My faves, Joey Options and Sharif, right back at you, brother. Thank you very much. We got the Corleone family 1 and Johnny Fishbone. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend, Joey. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, good morning. Yeah, I mean, hope everyone had a good, solid weekend. Long weekend here in Canada, that is. So it was Carabana weekend this weekend, so we had some festivities there. Nothing too wild. Go see what's going on with the parade, considering it's just down the street from where I live. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of intoxicated individuals, that's for sure. And yeah, that's it. We rock and roll and see what we got going on. It's funny because I used to go there and sell. When my cousin and I first started doing that when we were about 19 years old, selling beer at the parade, there was no one really there. Now it's just full of vendors and everybody trying to sell something. But that's good because we got millions of people coming in the city and we don't want to fall short on beer or anything like that because that would be an absolute disaster. So you need those confidence cans rolling 100%. But what did we get going on? What did we get cooking up here on today? Got chopped up in Tesla. This is the only name that I've traded here this morning. So we build in really heavy right here. Boom, 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 boom. We're just adding like a madman. And then it came back. With that being said, add more shares. Risk gets tighter, gets stopped out. Then I double what I had here. So we were really heavy on a super tight stop, get stopped out there. And then just due to risk measures, I couldn't take as much size as I did on these two trades, but we still hop in a little bit and we just take off some of those losses. And this is where I can get aggressive, right? So I added to the position, I take some off, we get this pullback, and then I add at those lows looking for the break of the high of the day and the continuation in the trend. But sure enough, Tape said, Tesla does not feel like doing that today. So yeah, that's what we had going on. Only trade of the day, but let's go with Ethereum. Man, oh man, I was losing my my cool on Friday because I'm trying to get out of this position, Sharif. It wouldn't let me. At home, on VKR, wouldn't let me. I was doing everything in my power. Day plus overnight. I'm just under, so I'm hitting below the offers, hitting below, trying to catch this fill, and it wouldn't fill me. So then this morning, I'm like, all right, you know what? Enough is enough. I bought some more, and then for some reason, I tried to get out of the whole position. I ended up buying some more, and now it's starting to work out. But my average is 27.70. I'm gonna hold on to this for the foreseeable future. I like this swing trade for the next couple of months. And we're going to see how that plays up, and I'm going to continue to build. I told you guys I first started off with a couple hundred shares. I'm now on around 260 shares. Bang. So yeah, we're going to look to get that up to 400 or 500.
I love it, man. All right, I've just worked into my first position here, ONDS. We'll see how this one's working. It's got lower highs. We'll give this one to VWAP right now. Here's what I'm looking at. Let's bring in the side chart because some are still going, some are pulling back. I'm talking about the small cap gappers. The biggest and baddest one in the market, at least currently, is BTBD. It's already breaking down below the volume weighted average price. Got a 560 high with VWAP being at 425. There was all sorts of buying here at around 3 mid-80s. Look at these 3 bottoming tail candles that breach VWAP, but most notably all make higher highs. So you could tell there was buying there, but we've kind of exhausted that. That 5 1/4 seller prevented this one from ascending, and now we're down below 4 1/4, and we're continuing to make lower highs. This current candle, though, on BTBD still has higher lows. Let's see which way this cookie crumbles. I've also got a dip trade here on AEO. You bet your bottom dollar I'll be taking this one to the long side today. Shout out to American Eagle. Yeah, more to come on that. And then we'll also be looking at VERB. Shout out to Bovin, bringing this one to my attention, VERB. I dislike this one, Bovin, and I know you know why. There's a couple of reasons. It's expensive, it's spready, and it hasn't cleared the pre-market high. That pre-market high takes us all the way up there into 22.45 to be exact. That is the pre-market high that printed right at 825, and we have not been above that. Alas, we are pulling into the 10 EMA on the 5 right now at 18.5, 1846. And it is halted down now, Bovin, at 1846, but it's a good halt level, in my opinion, because it halts right at the 10 EMA. So even though, you know, it's got a topping till candle, which is also a doji candle, followed by a red candle that halts, it's got all the ingredients here for a short. When you look at it a little bit more thoroughly, it is still holding up above the 10 EMA on the 5, so we're going to keep VERB on watch. There's also ZYXI. This one a bit more spready per candle. Look at the range per candle is quite wide. It is not a tight trade, even though the price is quite low, $1.65. We'll see how this one ends up doing. It's above VWAP right now, but as I analyze this further, the respect for VWAP has been very sparse, if not non-existent at all. And the reason I say that, look at the amount of candles that breach VWAP, both on a wick and closing basis, only to work back its way above. So I'll probably have very few trades off VWAP on ZYXI and more off price action areas of support and resistance. But yeah, that's what I'm keeping my eye on. Now let's talk about Faraday Futures, Assassino, because this one is also above the volume weighted average price, got 16.5%, keeping this one afloat. It just lost the 10, and it has been putting in lower highs ever since that topping till candle into 243. It's 10 pennies lower at 233, but most notably still holding that 2 1/4, 228 where VWAP's hanging out. Now we just got filled on American Eagle, so let's see what this one does right now. We just got the dip trade here on AEO, and I'll be looking to add into the 1/3 of a dollar. And the reason I say that is because that's a 10 exponential moving average on the 5, and that's what I want to base my trades off. So AEO, do we get partially filled on AEO? What kind of craziness is that? How do you get partially filled on?
This guy's all in AEO.
Bro, I already made it very clear. Made it very clear that I'm going to be trading this to the long side. All right, so I got partially filled on a small order, Joey. How the hell does that happen anyway? So AEO, we're involved in this one now. Also, I've got more to talk about, though. Joby. I'm lamenting this one so much. I was telling Joseph off camera, JOBY, watched a piece on this one on CNBS's website like a month and a half ago when this thing was trading at 12 bucks. And you're like, yeah, you know, I don't want to pick winners. I'm going to buy a little Archer, a little Joby, maybe some others. Never got around to doing it, and it's doubled up since that time. So breaking through 20 bucks today with a 2045 high. Generally respectful of that 10 EMA on the 5 with a few wicks that do breach it, but Joby will also be in focus. I mentioned Faraday Futures and some others. So those are the ones we're looking at right now, guys. Let's keep an eye out on these ones and see what they have to offer us. Joseph.
Yes, sir. All right, let's see what we got going on. We want to stick to some strong names here in Tesla. See, that's the thing, right? It's like, it's funny because I was bashing this name over the weekend. I'm like, yeah, it sucks. And I come in and I decide to trade it, obviously, on that Elon Musk. Finally, his pay package going through. So that's something solid. But for me personally, it's just like, do we want to? The market is rallying, and look what Tesla's doing, right? So to me, that just signifies that, yeah, this isn't an overly strong asset. But I want to talk a little bit about CCL.
Okay.
CCL? Okay. Yeah. I forget who it was. Someone, like, there was a lot going on, and I brought up CCL, and they're like, yeah, Joe, like, we got so much going on in the market, and you're talking about CCL? And I'm like, yeah, sorry, man.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. You know what I mean? No, but it was funny. We were obviously joking around there on that one. But no, here it is, right? This is what I'm looking at this name for. It's just that indecision through some key support levels. And if you go across a lot of some of these transportation names, like UAL, AAL, DAL, NCLH, and CCL, you're going to see an identical print here. So maybe we'll get somewhat of a rotation, but you can notice that this gap has now been filled. So you want to get in at those lows. And with this specific ticker, for me personally, it's like you got to take like 600 shares, 700 shares in order for it to even become profitable. So yeah, that ship may have sailed, but there's also IBM that I was looking at as well too. I'm referencing swing trades as well too, guys, right? So just keep that in mind. IBM, a little bit more on the expenses. I have 250, but you get this hammer candle, it breaches to the downside, but then you get one following up. So that's some really key VPA. As long as you don't crack this low, I think you're going to get a bounce in IBM. And if you just look at the run that it's been on since 2024, it's some pretty good moves, right? And that recovery off of the April lows, that's some nice stuff. 36%, 40% or whatever, but it did establish a new all-time high. So IBM and CCL are on my radar, I should say, over the weekend as I was just doing some basic TA. But other than that, from an intraday standpoint, I did miss those opportunities on both of those names, but I'm going to continue to stick with Tesla here. I think I'm going to get involved in a little bit more shares just in case we want to get this move back towards VWAP. Risk profile is defined, right? So we can risk 16 cents, which is quite a bit here on this name, considering I want to take a decent amount of shares just to move back into VWAP because the SPY is now about to approach the high of the day, right? So that's moving higher. Volume's starting to cool off a little bit, but the Q is slightly weaker, so just keep that in mind. And also Tesla hasn't been participating on that topside move, so maybe it's just gonna be a laggard. But we also went over last week is that price is compressing, and we're gonna wait for a positive catalyst or even a negative catalyst for this range to be broken. And I think eventually it will. You just need something to get kind of light that fire there, Sharif.
All right, thanks, Bovin, for that. INV is breaking out as we speak right now. Was it halted, Bovin? I think you tagged me, you said halted. Okay, so it looks like it was halted. We can flip to the one so we can see the halt levels. Yes, so we've got two up halts on this thing right now. The first one was around 5 1/3. The second one, 640. The high of the day, 694. This is the 1 minute on INV. Let's flip back to the 5 and throw on the ticker. We are at the high of the day of 694. I already can tell it's spready, Bovin, just based on how it's moving on the chart. I haven't even had a chance to look at the tape. Look at that, 694 back down in the 640s. Okay, so right away, get to know the characteristic of the small cap gapper. What does it trade like? Is it wiki? Is it stable? Is it insane like INV right now? So get to know the characteristic and then trade it accordingly. You have to devise a strategy specific to the small cap gapper because they're not all equal in any way, shape, or form. So INV, Bovin, I'm going to have to trade this carefully if I do get in. We're going to be keeping an eye out on this one. Let's give it its own trading screen at the moment to find out what kind of spread we're talking about here and kind of what kind of look we got on the book. Not bad. 10 penny spread, a little wider at times, tightening up 6 pennies, and it opens up to 11. So yeah, just get a feel for how wide and how narrow the spread tends to get. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it gives you an idea of what to expect with these monsters. INV up 40%. Let's take the opportunity to find out a little bit more about it. What is this thing? 19.85 million share float, and I don't have the short float. Let's see if Perplexity can help us. Ooh. Short float on INV, please. Go, Perplexity, quicker, quicker. I'm waiting. All right, here we go. It doesn't know. Oh, yeah, that's not the kind of quickness we want. 3.26%. Assassino, what can I do, man? Days to cover, 8.81. About 3.25% of said float is board for short. So we obviously know how that works. The data can be up to 14 days old, as that's when FINRA updates the short float information. Okay, so let's talk about some of the trades we have on right now. We're doing it freaking live on American Eagle. We've got this one at 42s. It's at 62s now. Go American Eagle, go. Fly high, baby. We're going to wait here, see if we can squeeze into 13. It's up 17 and change. This one is aggravating all sorts of people online, and more pleased I could not be. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one, and we'll be looking to take it long. All right, ONDS, we're involved in this one, but it has a seller here at 57s. What I'm noticing, though, is we've got the stair-step up pattern with some higher lows, but we do have a seller here that's been staunchy. It's prevented me from getting a whole bunch of prints up here so far. 57 seller right now on ONDS. And I've also weaseled into Faraday Futures. So FFIE, where's my FFIE screen? Pardon me. So we've got in here literally almost at the high of the day, a couple of pennies off the high of the day, 38s. It's definitely got a seller in and around the high 30s, low 40s, but it did wake up into 43 and it is above the 10 EMA. I do have an order right there. As you can see, that aqua line with the circle, that is a resting dip trade. So I'll see if this one wants to come back down, maybe test the volume weighted average price, get a bit of a better price on that one, Joey option. So
yes,
that's what I'm looking at right now, those three.
All right, good luck there. Yeah, I know you probably haven't seen it, Sharif, but season 1 of White Lotus, I'm pretty sure Sydney Sweeney's in there.
Is she actually?
Yeah.
She is. I can confirm she is.
Yeah, and I don't know what's up with her. She just always has that consistent role of going after all her friends' dudes.
Typecast?
Her typecast?
They typecast her?
What?
They typecast her?
Yeah.
So
Typecast.
typecast like means you keep playing.
Yeah, you keep playing the same role. Like my guy. I'm not even gonna say it, man.
Oh, say his name.
I'm not gonna
say his name, Joey.
I can't do it, man. That's crazy. Denzel.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's crazy right there. You're gonna get in a lot of
That's
trouble
crazy.
for
That's
that.
crazy. I'll stop. Yeah, I'll stop now. I was gonna make a hot take, but Neil. Oh yeah. So,
He's
okay,
not
guys.
here. Oh.
My most hated song of all time. Return of the Mac. I didn't want to say that.
Return of the Mac.
Yeah, I can't stand that song.
Why?
It's always because it's on the club. Every club you go to, they're playing that freaking song, man. Anyways, but shh, don't tell Neil I said that, because I don't know how he's gonna feel about that one, because he might lose his ish on me. So, but anyways. Having fun here today, man. It's Monday, and yeah, I'm locked in here too as well.
Get it,
so
Joe.
yeah, we're keeping an eye out on AMD. Way to point that one out there, Gorev. You guys know my style. I'm sniper mode, right? So I want to wait for some precision. If this 5-minute candle holds around the lows, then I might look to get involved in some of this short here. So we want to see this volume really start to cool off, but you can see that we're holding this halfway point. That can be a positive sign. We want to zoom in and see what we got going on from the 1 minute. Ooh, inverted right there. Doji print right at the volume weighted average price. Not in love with that signal, that's for sure. So I'm not even going to look at the comments right now. So just in case you guys are mad at me that I said I don't like that song, I don't want to.
You got to be able to deal with it,
you
baby.
got to deal with it. Yeah, man, you got to deal with it. But no, other than that, CCL looking pretty good. I'm going to keep my eyes out on that one. The market is starting to come back in as well, too. So just keep that in mind there, guys. But let's go over some of the top performing sectors here on the session. And see what we got going on. So yeah, Gorev, AMD not holding up just yet. It may take a little while for it to turn around, but hey, what a beautiful day. Shout out to Arthur. I think
It's a beautiful day. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, I was gonna sing a song. Do you remember the one Jamaican kid who was like, I'm not even gonna say, I can't even remember right now, put me on the spot. Anyways, all right, man, yeah, I gotta get with it here. Joe, focus. All right, the tech sector, technology, 1.6% up. We don't have a red sector on the day. Utilities sitting in that second place spot there, guys, up 1.4%. Materials roughly around the same 1.3%. The bottom three, consumer discretionary up about 0.6, closer to 7th. Consumer staples about 4.5%, and then energy sector 0.22 as well too, Sharif.
Sounds good, Joey. All right, same trades here, guys. American Eagles, the only one really running. INV, full disclosure, this is blocked on our system. We won't be able to trade this at the moment unless Neil comes back, puts in a ticket, and then they open it up or they allow us to trade it, while it's still active and while it's still above VWAP. But above it just lost VWAP. My goodness. Here here we go. We're going to halt down here, 583. Here comes the halt parameter starting to show on the time and sales. If it does this for about 5 more seconds, we should get a halt. Otherwise, it'll be a false halt, and we'll probably rocket back up. And there it is. There's the gray out. We are halted down on INV at $5.83. We are below the volume weighted average price. But I want to mention, as I've mentioned before with these small cap gappers, we have a bit of an anomaly right now with the moving averages and VWAP. VWAP substantially higher than the 10 EMA on the 5. So I usually don't want to base too much of my technical support and resistance analysis on VWAP when it's above the 10 EMA, because that is not mostly the case. So I want to see if this is actually going to hold above the 10 EMA, which is at 565. We're not involved in it, nor can we get involved in it, but I want to analyze it correctly for you, for the people who are trading it on the other side of the screen. So INV up 30.75%, looking real good over here, but we don't have anything on, okay, for that one. FFIE, I'm still holding here at 38, break even. There's a seller up here. Now, I need to be careful with this because oftentimes I've punched in at highs with a bias that the higher lows were going to lead to some sort of flat top break, and it was just a matter of time until that seller gets taken out. And then, you know, we get pullbacks into VWAP, and I add there only to lose the level. So I want to not have that bias going into Faraday Futures, FFIE. I've gotten in at 38. I will add into the VWAP area, but that's going to be it, okay? We're not going to DCA into an oblivion on this one. Faraday Futures has a seller in the high 30s, low 40s that we can't seem to shake. Now, here's the deal. ZYXI also coming in back into the 10 EMA, and I wouldn't mind picking this up off of $1.70, but the range on this is crap, even though it's up 35%. I mean, we're talking here between VWAP and the high of the day, we're talking about 15 pennies. I'll think about this one. I'll think about this one a little bit more. ONDS continues to find sellers at this level. That displeases me. We're in at 55s. The best it could do is some 57, 58 prints up there. Still above the 10 EMA, still putting in higher lows, but certainly slowing down and definitely not exploding with the same vigor that it had earlier. VERB, VERB. This one looking like it could be a double top candidate. I don't trade VERB until it takes out that pre-market high at 2250, but here it is for those who don't care about that rule and don't mind trading it, even though it hasn't cleared VWAP. It is now at the volume weighted average price, but I'm more hesitant to want to punch into anything at VWAP here, and here's why. Here's what I see on VERB. I see 3 areas of support on the 5-minute chart off the 50 exponential. Once, twice, he is the one thrice right over here. So why would I be punching in at VWAP when it's been showing me all along that the 50 EMA is where it's going to find support? And right now, for the moment, the 50 EMA is overlapping with that $16 whole dollar level. So VERB could be a pickup off that 50 EMA, and it's already losing VWAP. It already looks like it's destined for that $16 level. Zigging and zagging with 17, moving 20 pennies at a time like a psycho. So keep your eye here on VERB and trade it carefully, for goodness sake, if you're going to trade it at all. All right, let's go. Finally, we get a print here on my friend Faraday, showing me 40s. I'm waiting at 40s, but it's not crossing, so we don't get the print. FFIE up 19.15%. Keep an eye out on that one. ONDS, boom, taking out multiples of my orders there. Showing me 60. I'm waiting at 60, but I don't get the print as a result of the cross. So let's go ahead and wait now at 62s. And we're also going to wait at 64s. Let's see what we get, and we will not get upset. Have a look at Go American Eagle, fly high, baby. This one is a buy program. It feels like right now very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. American Eagle up 17 1/3. Adara LePage.
Sheriff Gabriel, congrats on that trade. And let's take a look here at ahead of, I guess we'll say congrats to Palantir, because Palantir has very quickly weaseled its way, to use a Sharifism, to the top 20% of the Nasdaq 100 by market cap. Here are the top 21 companies, because Google has 2 tickers, but 20 companies here that are leading the Nasdaq 100 by market cap. Of course, we know the Meg 7's on here. Palantir actually, shockingly, in the top 15, just right behind Netflix and Costco. Other names that might shock you to know they're actually in the top 20% of the Nasdaq. AMD, ASML, we have Cisco, we have Booking Holdings, and we have AstraZeneca. So here are the best, not the best performance, but the largest market cap names in the Nasdaq. Palantir, let's see if it wheels any higher up this list after that earnings report post-market tonight. Check it out with Neil and myself on the Market Recap Show. Back to you.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go here. AMD. Way to call that one out. My guy, Gorev, man. Gorev. Man. Let's go.
What's he doing over there,
man.
bro?
He's giving me hot picks right now. That's what he's doing.
Gorev.
My guy. Way to be, man. Oh, let's do this thing, brother. This is exactly shout out to our friend Hulk Hogan. There it is. Okay.
I am a real American.
I heard he's got that beer line, Sharif. I know you wouldn't, but it's called the Great American Beer. I would like to see if anybody
Hogan?
can. Yeah, he's got.
that.
Yeah, I think he has that beer line. It's called Great American. So maybe we might have to import some of that there.
Fight for your life. I
don't even know this song.
Crashing down and it hurts inside.
I don't even know the song.
Bad boy.
Yeah, all right, let's go. But my guy Gorev here giving out hot picks as usual. So there we go. We're starting to climb almost $1. Almost hit that dollar club here. I think we might get that momentarily here, Sharif. Let's go. This is what I'm talking about. Thank you, Gorev. Much appreciated. All right, let's take a little bit more off here, guys. Just because there we go. We caught that film. NWO, come on.
So good.
Yeah.
NWO.
NWO, yeah. All right, anyways, I got a big game on Thursday. If anyone was curious about that one, I just thought you guys would know. I know you don't care probably. I am on a mad goalless streak, which is not
goalless?
good. Goalless, yeah.
the bag.
4
My bad,
gamer,
my bad.
brother.
That's okay.
4 gamer. You don't
you're
even
warming up,
understand.
baby.
Oh, I had so many opportunities last Thursday, and you know, for all my fellow athletes out there, some days you're just really hot, Sharif, you know this, and some days it's just like a game of inches, and I couldn't get anything to go behind the net. But anyways, back to these markets. I know you guys don't care about my hockey, but that's all right, I care. AMD starting to climb higher. We hit the dollar club there for me, Sharif. I think we did hit the dollar club at some point there.
Here,
so yeah,
we
want to see this continue to climb. Solid name, and this is what we got going on here off of this hammer. Gore was like 3 minute. No, I said no, 1 minute, my friend. And this is exactly what we played off of. He mentioned this on the 5, so I'm like, beautiful. Okay, I really like this. And him and I were discussing the game plan. I'm like, if it holds the low, I'm gonna look for any more forms of indecision at this specific area. And then we break it down on the 1 minute. And sure enough, this is the candle that I played the break off of. 170.35, and you take that move to the top side. Who is it? This guy, man.
I like how he's picking on you these days. He's left me the hell alone now.
But he's my guy. I'll allow him.
Yeah, he's my guy too. I just don't want him
him
picking on me.
Yeah, hey man, he's a big dude. It's not like I could probably do anything. But see, my game plan for you would be, Big Spile, is I would just run circles around you for a little bit, because I know you'd have an upper decky and a lower decky, get tired, and then that's when I start to come in.
Hold on, what's an upper decky and lower decky? We need an explanation.
The Zins.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's running 12 milligrams, so I know that cardio is on the extreme low, so as long as I can get a couple laps around him, I think I'd be all right after, and then I'd go for the knees and see what I could do from that.
What is happening?
Just game planning, just in case. You know what I mean?
Get it, Joe. Get it, Joe.
But yeah, no, anyways, back to these markets and seeing what else we got going on. Let's take a look at some options chain stuff, because we haven't really. And to be honest with you guys, I think I'm going to just drop these VIX calls. Okay. I'm only down $62 on them, but I mean, they expired January 20th, and my average is $6.81. But they're not doing anything. I've never been in the money on these VIX calls. So let's pull up the VIX here to see what we got going on. And we want to see the index, because personally, I was like, oh man, like, come on. I thought we were going to get some spike. We were getting too complacent. We're getting way too complacent in the market here. And we did get this nice pop up into 22, but my average was something around there. And I think I lost a little bit of time. It was slightly in the money, but nothing substantial. And now I'm out of the money again on these calls. I just think this market, there's too much forward going, too much tailwinds for this market to kind of make up something, even though they can do that. And then obviously send the VIX parabolic. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. So I'm just going to hop out, take that 70 $70, $80 loss and then just reassess the situation. But Adair, what do you got for us?
I have our crypto segment here. So let's take a look at TON. That is Toncoin. This one's on watch here in case you guys missed it. One of these runners earlier today, VERB Technology, up as much as 90%. The company announced a private placement of roughly $558 million, through which they're going to be establishing their first publicly listed TON treasury strategy company. So they're changing the company's name there. They're, I guess, changing their entire business model to just be focused on Toncoin. Now, it's interesting here. Through that, I guess one of the things that is a nice look, even though, as you can see here, Toncoin on the daily, not at all a nice look, who they're working with on this strategy. They are, I guess this private placement was led by Kingsway Capital, anchored by Blockchain, Ribbit Capital, amongst some other groups. So this is pretty interesting. Kraken was also one of the crypto native investors involved in this. Kraken and Pantera. The new executive chair of the company, once they finished their merger, I guess their transition, Manuel Stotz, he said that Telegram, I guess, because it's the preferred messenger of the crypto community, and Toncoin is apparently the currency that powers the Telegram ecosystem, it makes sense for them to kind of combine here. Interesting stuff, definitely something I think to look more into if you're going to get involved in something like this. But good look, they have their whole team lined up, including an individual from Blockchain who will serve as their special advisor. Let's take a look here at Bitcoin, BTC, USD. Great look here in the daily chart. Yes, we have been pulling back lately, but this is clearly an uptrend. Higher highs, higher lows. Let's see if we can push higher and make a new all-time high. Ethereum looking very similar, though not at all-time highs, but this uptrend very much still seems to be intact despite some weakness late last week experienced by both BTC and Ethereum. Let's take a look at Solana, USD quickly before we go. Solana also arguably in an uptrend from these lows right around Liberation Day, though this uptrend is a little bit less defined than what we're seeing with Ethereum or Bitcoin. Either way, despite some pullbacks in the end of last week, a lot of these names seem poised to recover. Let's see if they follow through. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Yeah, Coinbase today getting a downgrade from our friends at Compass Point, and they're saying that retail investors or the retail trade, so to speak, is starting to fade here in crypto. So they actually downgraded them from neutral to sell, dropping the price target almost $100, guys, from 330 down to 248. So the analyst there at Compass Point, Ed Engel, basically cited weak earnings trends. We saw Coinbase report last week. It was basically a miss on almost every metric that the company had there. There were a few notes there with EPS beating, but revenue was down, transaction revenue was down. And here's what he's saying. He's saying also that stable coins are also starting to present a bit of a competition here for these regular blockchain or regular coins that are trading on Coinbase. We're talking about, the Bitcoin, Solanas, XRP, saying stable coins are starting to take some of that market share, which are obviously pegged to a fiat currency, most notably the US dollar. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But what really caught my attention was the retail interest in the crypto trade. He, at least anyway, says it's beginning to fade. Is that something that you agree with? Because, I don't know. I think
trade is beginning to fade?
The retail crypto trade. So retail interest in crypto into some of these non-stable coins is starting to fade, according to him. And we didn't really see that outside of Coinbase's earnings. We saw good crypto trading for Robinhood, but it could also be people getting on to that platform anew and then just having to trade crypto. Whereas if you were on Coinbase, you were probably on Coinbase for crypto to begin with. So maybe they're kind of the canary in the coal mine as opposed to some of these other ones. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was touching on before, Sharif, is that I think maybe we're seeing a little bit of a rotation into different platforms considering Robinhood, right? So we know that Coinbase, you can only strictly trade crypto or whatever it may be. Well, that's exactly what it is. You can only trade crypto, but with Robinhood, you have your equities, you have your options, you have your futures, and you have the ability to trade essentially every form of speculative vehicle. And I think that's a rotation for me personally. I want to have everything condensed. I want to be able to use it all in one platform, and Coinbase just doesn't offer that at this moment. So that's me personally on what I think was going. When I seen those numbers, because it's weird to see Robinhood have an increase in transactions and then one of the one of the grandfathers of the crypto space, Coinbase, start having a decay in transactions. So I was like, what's going on there? That doesn't make quite sense, considering of the Genius Act and a lot more regulatory clarity that we're seeing in this space. So for me, I think it's just a rotation into a different platform. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But hey, if you want to talk about strong assets, just take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Oh.
You see that we make this move into some key support levels right around that 112, and then we're starting to experience a little bit of a bounce. Do I believe that we're going to turn around at this point? No, there's nothing from a price action standpoint that's telling me, hey, Bitcoin's ready to turn around and establish a new high. We want to keep out on an eye out for this signal. You can see that we didn't have the ability to breach it, and then we sold off. But now we broke through some key support levels. Maybe this is just going to be a liquidity grab, and then we can recover. But I'm still going to be keeping an eye out for more indecision that will clarify and say, hey, Joe, we're going to continue this climb higher. And now you may be asking, what am I referring to? Well, let's just take a look at this. Gorev and I lost Polios, and a lot of traders are using the volume price analysis to gauge our exits and our entries. Now, look at this hammer at a low. You get this breach between a key support level, you get that indecision print, and then sure enough, you climb higher. Now you're at an extreme high, at an all-time high, as a matter of fact, and you can see you print an inverted hammer and the stock sells off. So what am I specifically looking for? Any form of indecision or hammer candles at lows. Here's another one here. And if you just go throughout your charts and look for those topping tail or bottoming tail candles, you'll be able to base trades off it. And I want to bring up another asset as well too, and that's going to be Ethereum. So it's identical, but we know that Ethereum, a lot of these stablecoins are built off of the Ethereum network. So that is why I'm getting involved in this specific cryptocurrency, is because I think that this is going to be one of the primary beneficiaries of the Genius Act, and obviously the transition from a physical dollar to a digital dollar. All right, so just keep that in mind. Let's see if we can continue this climb. But again, from a VPA standpoint, there's nothing saying that we have a continued turnaround, but you can also be wrong at the same time. But just to go through those VPA signals, here's another one. You break through that support level, you have an indecision print at the lows, and then sure enough, look what it does. And you just want to go across the board to see if you have the ability to identify some of these highs and lows and those indecision prints, and I think you'll have the ability to base trades off of them. That's exactly why I took this AMD trade this morning, and it's working out. Starting to come back in towards VWAP, but who knows? We can break through the high of the day because the Qs and the SPY are approaching that area.
Okay.
Dara, what do you got for us?
Just letting you guys know here, for those who are following Figma, and Sean started on Figma this morning, this actually just broke a new day's low, currently trying to bounce off 94, but either way, FIG on watch, continuing to break lower. Keep in mind this opened around that 114 level. Back to you.
You got a question there in the super chat, Theory of Stars.
Yeah, I like that one. Hey, Joe, you like IB, Webull, or Robinhood better? IB, all day.
We don't even have Robinhood over here.
Yeah.
We have what's it called? Wealth Simple?
Wealth Simple.
Isn't that like the Robinhood, the Canadian equivalent, so to speak?
I guess. Oh, nah, maybe kind of, sort of.
Questrade?
Yeah,
Questrade?
Questrade, ooh, that's a tough one. But Wonderfy, though, so now, obviously, with the acquisition of Wonderfy, so maybe you're going to get the Robinhood.
That'd be awesome.
Canada, right?
Yeah, that would make sense if they would share the platform.
Right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now you can get
And we've already seen that cross-platform, like Thinkorswim came from over here.
TD, right?
And then they dropped it in the States.
They call it a TD Ameritrade.
Ameritrade,
is what they call it here. We just have TD. Don't use it.
No, but if you're looking, like if you're in Canada, there's really only one brokerage you can use if you're looking for like pre-market, level 2 sales, all that kind of stuff. But if you're in the States, you have a lot of options.
Yeah, I
That's
think IB is definitely hands down.
in Canada?
Hands
down.
Yeah, hands down.
Hands down.
I mean, Questrade's old too. I remember when my cousin first opened, when I was still using TD and he was using Questrade. And this is like the teens, right? Like,
was he using Thinkorswim?
No. I was using TD. I didn't even know about
My
that.
bad.
He was using Questrade. I'm like, what is this BS here? You know what I mean?
Some people are saying Mumu, Omar, DSTV. They were a former sponsor of the show, by the way. I have a bunch of hats from them at home. Yeah, look, I haven't actually tried Mumu in Canada, but hey, if you guys are saying it's good, it's good. Send me some screenshots of the layout. Have a look at that. Wouldn't mind seeing what that looks like. All right, Joey, so here's the deal. Let's update on our trades. A bit of a slower day today in small cap gapper world. ONDS, look, bunch of scalps on that. Still waiting for a 60 break. That seems to be where the sellers are hanging out. Kind of disappointed. I put my dip trade here at 52. It comes back into 52s, doesn't cross, and then moves right back up. So I don't know if that dip trade would be accurate anymore. We'll keep tabs on that. But Faraday Futures coming back in a little bit here. Kind of expected that with that seller in and around. The 40s, I still have an order here to go to add more on Faraday, and I'll look to add a little bit more into VWAP as well. It's got higher lows, so that's really what I'm keeping my eye on the most right now, the higher low situation. I did add into American Eagle at this level. We scalped out a couple of beak wetters into the high there, but it is coming down a little bit into the 10 EMA. So I am expecting a bit of a deeper retracement as it really hasn't broken the 10 EMA since it opened up. Actually, that's not accurate. Right at 9:55 is when the volume started coming in. So basically from 9:55 onwards, Joey, it hasn't broken the 10 EMA. It feels like it's destined for a bit of a deeper retracement. So we'll be adding shares incrementally, little by little at the levels. We're not going to get too much too quickly all at once. And if it does continue to trend up, then we've got these profit takers right there. So that's where I initially got in, then I added over here. So we'll keep an eye on AEO, ONDS as well. I'm still packing my patience out on that one. Joby is finally pulling into the 10 EMA, so it might be an entry here on your friend Joby. So your friend Joby has got the 10 EMA at 250, but it has price action, initial resistance at 240. So I don't want to trade Joby because it's not a small cap gapper in the strict sense, but it's trending like 120%, you know, finding support at the 10 EMA. Yeah, I think I'm just going to be very stubborn in what I trade, and I won't trade names that are not strictly small cap gappers. So I'm going to continue to cover Joby for you because I think it's got good momentum to the high side today, and you guys shouldn't have to suffer because I don't want to trade it. So I'll keep mentioning it. I'll mention the technical levels, but it's a fantastic looking chart here on the 5 with higher lows, higher highs. It looks like an upward channel after that volume spike that we saw right at 9:30 there. Great look for JOBY. What else we got involved over here? Let's keep an eye out. Oh, I saw this one, Buvin. I don't know how you feel about this or anybody else who wants to trade these in the chat. CASI. So the reason this one got my attention because it worked back from south of the volume weighted average price to above. But as I analyze this a little bit more, I kind of feel like it's having a bit of a magnetic pullback into that 20 EMA on the 5, which is the yellow line. Again, the CASI suffering from the same affliction that some other small cap gappers that get super parabolic suffer from, where they have the volume weighted average price a little bit higher than the 10 EMA. That situation hasn't presented well for me in the past when I've tried to pick it up off these key areas of technical support. I'm talking about the moving averages. So again, an anomaly. I don't want to call it an anomaly because it happens, but it doesn't happen all that much. Again, what I'm talking about is the volume weighted average price being higher than the 10 exponential moving average. You don't see it often, but when you do see it, I feel like I don't have the right read. So I'll just steer clear on CASI, yeah, until it can clear that 2.25, where it obviously had some selling last time around. So that's it, Joey. I mean, there's really, it's a light bunch today in small cap gapper world. They're not breaking down, but they're also not rocketing up either. Yeah. So yeah, we'll keep tabs on these, and if they want to catch a bid, we'll get involved.
Absolutely. So yeah, we caught another fill here on AMD. So now I have only about 40% of this position remaining. Just long off of that candle right there. Excuse me, hiccups. And then I can also smell Neil's pizza over there too. So
Neil, you got pizza? I walked around. Brendan sent a message he was going to get poke from that place that opened instead of Freshie. Yeah.
That's all right, man. He went with the slice there. Nova.
I can go for a slice.
Fair.
You
deserve it. Hey, all right.
Always,
he's coming in hot.
we can always go for a little slice.
I said I was going for a walk to find what my lunch would be. I passed like 10 spots. I saw poke. I was like, not just noodles. Maybe I want that. Maybe I get some pho. And then ultimately, I came right back around the block to across the street to grab a slice. So it's whatever.
It's fine.
You always get to pick
what
we get on a holiday like this.
Boom.
And I got as lazy as possible, but it smells delicious. So thank you, Pizza Nova.
Thank you, Pizza Nova, and thank you, Gorb, and thank you, AMD, Advanced Money Advanced money duplicator today. We like this one, Sharif, but you know with me, the tables can turn extremely quick. Adara, what do you got for me?
Oh, yeah.
Here is Novo Nordisk, NVO on watch about 5 minutes ago. The company announces that they received an unsolicited mini tender offer from TRC Capital for 2 million American depository shares. They apparently have not, they remain neutral. They didn't offer opinion, though they did apparently urge investors to use caution. So NVO announcing they did receive an unsolicited mini tender offer for 2 million American depository shares. This stock waffling around today, but we know that it had a pretty weak performance last week, guys. Back to you.
Oh, you can't.
No,
it's not like Pride.
No.
Pride was wild.
Yeah, and Glory.
Remember Pride, like in the early 2000s, late 90s, when what's his name? Anderson Silva was there, Rampage Jackson.
Yeah, but he was fighting over in Japan.
That's
and
what I'm talking about, Pride.
Yeah,
It's called
exactly.
Pride back in the
Rampage
day.
over there. Yeah, that stuff is some
He's
violent
married
stuff.
to a Japanese woman.
Yeah, that's it. That's what
you gotta hear what he calls his kids.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna say it on here because I'll get canceled quicker than you can say how do you do.
His relationship
said
with his kids are hilarious.
I love it.
Bro, we can't even talk about what Rampage said.
And Mirko Krokop, shout out to Tony.
Oh, remember, so Mikro Krokop, remember he was just like the master of head kicks? Remember when he got
absolutely.
Remember when he got head kicked
By
in the
who
UFC?
was it?
I
Someone
forget
else
who it
knocked him out
was.
with a head kick, yeah.
He got rocked in his
He's a
ankle.
cop, right?
Mikro Krokop?
Yeah, he was like SWAT.
Was he
I'm pretty sure he was
he's
like
Croatian.
special
He was like
forces.
Croatian,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, that guy was a savage. Anyways, Randy, Macho Man Randy, Savage over here. All right. Anyways, so we're just sitting in this sniper mode, right? So
Get it, Joe.
good thing to know. Like full disclosure, this morning I was on the brink of elimination. That is shutdown. That's what we're gonna call that one when bang headshot, right? But we're climbing back. We're climbing back with a vengeance here, Sharif.
I like it, Joey.
That's good to go. I mean, I was building in heavy right here, and then obviously I'm like Tesla, and I was just like, oh, Tesla, you hot piece of garbage. And then sure enough, as I go away, I'm like, all right, after this stop, I'm like, yeah, all right, let me cool and take a quick minute breather. And then get back in, and then sure enough, we added it. But just due to risk measures, I couldn't go as heavy as I was in this bunch here. But then we did take a little bit of shares added as well too, as it started to work out for us. And then sure enough, it didn't. Tape flipped, and that's when I just got out all of it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna lock it in. And then sure enough, you can see that just continuous selling. Wow, AMD, let's go. Thank you, Gorb, my guy. We'll take a little bit more off of that one here. Oh, obviously, I don't catch the fill.
Work out for me.
All right, gotta have a. There we go. So we caught that fill, not exactly at the price that we want. That's why we got to post up, and that's why I had those there earlier. But that's okay. AMD really cooking up for us. Chopped up in Tesla, but now AMD starting to cook up for your boy Joey O's. And I know some people wanted to talk some options and go over the chain. Just put those tickers in the chat.
Oh.
And then right after we get back from Sharif, we'll go over those.
All right, man. We're just waiting on ONDS here. It's the only one that's really coming down. I'm still waiting at 52s for the ad. I'm front running the volume weighted average price. That's the idea by waiting for that 52 ad there. I added again into American Eagle, and there it goes again. We take that print into the high, into 60s. The high of the day is 65, guys. So American Eagle flying high. Shout out to Sydney Sweeney. PTHL. This one is also making moves. I see you guys in the chat yelling about this one. Here it comes. 117 high. It's trading wild though. For $1 an AIM, it's moving 3-4 pennies at a time. That usually denotes a wider spread, even though I still haven't had a look at the time and sales. PTHL is the ticker. Just weaseled its way onto the scene. So this is a trade de novo. This is a newer trade, meaning that this wasn't trading in the at the open, was doing no volume. It wasn't trading in the pre-market. The volume just coming in here, 11:35, fast and freaking furious. And where do we have I'm just looking at the volume. About 3 million shares. In the last 5 minutes, we've done almost 1 million shares. So the volume is coming in recently. It's a $1.17 high. Let's flip to the 4-hour just quickly to get an idea of where we're going to encounter resistance. You better believe we're going to encounter it everywhere, because this thing is coming from lofty price levels. This is not a reverse split. I don't see any indication here that it was a split. So this was actual price action coming from $50 for whatever reason down into penny stock status. I'm not even going to look to see what the reason for this was. If we get more into it, then we can discuss that. But for the moment, I'm just going to look at price action. So it's a $1.18 high with each successive 5-minute candle putting in higher lows. So the buyers are stepping in. So keep your eye out on PTHL. It's up 40.75% on the day. Go American Eagle, go. Here we go again. We just took out a bunch of my orders. Now there's only one left. You know where it's waiting. If we're in the high 60s, you already know where I've posted. So let's keep an eye out on that American Eagle into the day's high, 67 high now, breaching that prior area high of 65. Go Faraday, you little, you know what. So we added into Faraday. Where's that Faraday screen? Excuse me. There we go. Added nicely into Faraday, and look at it go. Take out all my orders again. But again, we're back at that same pesky area we couldn't shake last time, which is that 40 penny area. And now the sellers are stepping in. So again, you know, we didn't see the huge size posted on the gateway at 40 last time, but that didn't obviously prevent. Boom! We take out 2 pennies right there into 42s, Joseph Wilson. So now we're waiting at 42s for the profit taker, but it is not crossing 42s, so we'll have to continue to wait. Let's go ahead. I'm not going to post at 44s. Shout out to all my Asians. You know exactly why. So we're going to wait at 45s and see what we get, and we will not get upset. Go ONDS. Go, Joseph. Here it comes into 62s again. What do we have on? And I didn't get the ad at 52s. You're driving me nuts. That's on me, though. It came into 52s before. I didn't get the ad. It came into 52s again. I didn't move it thinking, oh, yeah, I'm sure I'll get it this time. Nah, I didn't get it. So into 63s we go. Now I'm waiting at 64s. Let's go ahead and post also at 66s. Let's see if we can get something in and around that area. But Faraday Futures into the high, AEO into the high, ONDS also into the high. So good look for all 3 names we're holding. And let me also mention a name I'm not involved in. It's not just all about my portfolio right now. BTBD is coming back from the depths of hell, and I mean below VWAP. Anyway, still putting in lower highs though, so you need to be on the lookout for that, even though it has worked its way back above 4, 4.5, now trying to break through 4.25. Look at the general trend though. The general trend is still putting in lower highs. You break that lower high trend by printing anything above 5.25, Joey. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now. All the 3 trades that we've got on. Let's just pardon me, hope they continue. Here's Faraday now, back into the high again. I posted at 45. It's showing me 45s. It's got a cross though. There's a good amount of size, about several thousand lots sitting at 45. So we'll pack our patience on that one, Joe, and see if we can get a nice break to the high side.
Absolutely. All right, so there it is, guys. Big time move on AMD, almost hitting $2 on this one. So shout out to my boy once again, Goreb. I think you can break top today with the volume came in an entry. Yeah, I mean, if they see, that's the thing, right, Goreb? So I'm just kind of monitoring what the Qs are up to here, and if they want to make that push for the high of the day, I think that AMD is going to be participating in this one. So yeah, really good look on that one there, brother. So you can see the entry on there. Too bad we didn't add to it. Too bad, so sad. So there it is.
I like that.
Yeah, you never.
I remember that from like a kid.
Yeah.
Like
too bad, so sad. You know what I mean? Well, my grandpa used to say, I don't know if we can say it, but wish in one hand, do something in the other, and see which feels first.
I don't know that
Neil
one.
gets that one.
Yeah, he knows that one. He knows that one.
Neil knows that one.
Get it, Neil.
So think about it. Wish in one hand.
Yeah, spit in the other.
Well, no, and see what feels first, right?
Excuse me, Ram.
What
Not
did
everybody's
Ram
as
say?
smart as you, with like 150 IQ
Did you
over
get
here.
that one? Did you get that one?
Who cares if she got it? She's mean.
She
She's a
obviously,
bully, bro.
Like, obviously I got it, Joe. Like, come on.
I'm so smart.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, let's go Bitcoin as well too. We're in some IBIT, significantly weaker than what we're seeing in Ethereum. What are you laughing at?
Your boy Gorov likes the shirt I got on.
Oh yeah, all the
Mo Salah.
Yeah. I like that guy back in the day. I
Down the
remember.
wing. You never even noticed my Scouser accent there. Ruining instead of running.
Ruining.
You've never heard Scouser accent? Bro?
No,
it's like barely English,
I'm only
bro.
really good. I'm like, oh my days, and
Yeah, that's more.
I'm gutted. I'm gutted.
I'm gutted. Yes. No, have you heard the new expression?
No.
Allow it, fam. Allow it. Like let it go.
Allow it.
Allow it.
Yeah.
I hear it a lot of British rap.
Okay, Ryan, I'm sorry. I apologize about that. I'll go on with my analysis.
guys.
Focus.
My bad.
Focus.
My bad.
All right, it's Monday, and
Having a
we're
good
coming
time,
off
baby.
a weekend. So there it is. All right, I'm going to hop all out of this AMD here momentarily, but we got this Bitcoin working out for us as well, too. I have one more out. It's my last 10% on AMD. Maybe we can run into 77.40, or do I hold it for the dream and try to hit that $2 club? I don't know. Maybe we'll wait and see. But here it is. IBIT starting to cook up. Ethereum, please. Well, I hate begging stocks. Just crack the high of the day, and I think we're going to be sitting in a solid position. But why was I long Bitcoin here? Simple stuff. It's the exact same thing that we just experienced essentially on AMD. Wow, AMD. So there it is. Hammer candle right below the volume weighted average price. You can see we had one previously before. You do get that bounce. But one thing to note, we have to break through this downtrend in order to continue this trajectory to the top side. So just keep that in mind. We'll do our basic TA right now to see what we got going on. And I'm going to hop all out of my AMD. See, that's the thing, right? So I just run out of shares on AMD, and I hate getting out of trades that are working out really well and just holding on to things that aren't necessarily doing the exact same thing. But if we have the ability to sit on the backside of this trend, I think we can make that move towards the high of the day here on Bitcoin. And with that being said, I will get really aggressive on this trade, and I'll show you guys exactly what I got going on. So I'll just continuously add. So like right now I'm in about a half a risk of exposure. I'll look to build in around 2 or 3 full risk measures there. Wow, AMD Sharif.
Oh,
AMD is cooking up.
I like it, Joey. I like it. I like the vibes today.
Yeah.
Shout out to Faraday. It's into the high. Where is Randy when you need him, man? So we can pull up the car. Yeah, he's got a vacation. It's a day off here, Joey. I mean, give the guy a little bit of a break there, you know?
Yeah.
Here we go. Where are we in on Faraday? 35, and that's after the ad, guys. We're gonna wait at 49s. It's already showing me 49s. Let's go Faraday frickin' Futures. Showing me 49s right now, not crossing, but it's the PTHL show. I brought you guys this one not that long ago. I didn't punch, full disclosure, so I don't have anything in this, and here it goes, rocketing up that 110 level that it was at when we were talking into a 132 high. It's got a bullish engulfing right now. I mean, this red candle's engulfed from the high side and the low side by the prior candle. So let's see if it can hold that higher low and then push up above the $1.33. Current candle high is $1.29, but high day $1.32, up 50% now and going. And it is a new trade. The volume just started coming in onto PTHL. So it really hasn't exhausted itself. And now, you know, you can say, oh, the shorts are in control of this one. I don't think that that's the case. So we'll definitely try to work something into it. But it is the Faraday frickin' Future show as we wait for some higher prints there into 49s. Good look today on Faraday. I'm also taking some decent prints here, not as aggressively to the high side on ONDS. Best print 62s. And then it did get into 64s, but it didn't cross. I perceive this one to be putting in higher lows with most of the prints holding above the 10 at the deepest so far has been the 20. So it has had support at the 20 and the 10. Most of the prints find support at the 10 with the deeper retracements finding that support at the 20. AEO is the only thing we've really not said much about. We got 57s after the ad. It's having trouble clearing that 67 high. It is a 67 high, still above the 10 EMA. I don't want to take out too quickly here on American Eagle unless, you know, this buy program is on all day. Though we want to catch it because clearly it feels like it is some sort of a buy program right now. We're going to get to this headline on the news. Very controversial. It's causing a lot of, you know, discussion online, and you know, that could be good and bad for the stock. Today, at least, you know, the percentage up on the day kind of tells us what the market is thinking, at least in the short term. So that's a look there. Let's go back to PTHL. Well, let's actually look at Joby first. Here we are again off the 10 EMA on JOBY, and it's a 2091 high. It's showing 79. It's got a hammer candle off the 10. So I'm not going to trade Joby just because I want to really stick to the small caps and insist that I only trade these small caps, but I'm going to continue to cover it for you. I think it is certainly worthy today, especially with the kind of chart pattern that it has on at the moment, AKA it's freaking beautiful. Here it comes again into the mid 80s, high 80s we go again, Joseph. If we breach that 91 high, it's another new high a day. So JOBY, man.
Wow.
Yeah, look, this is a You know how I feel about the eVTOL space, bro. I'll go out. I'll go out like that.
You'll
You
go
know,
out
if
with
it's the end, it's the end, right? Like,
but you'll die a happy man.
yeah. Well, if the old man upstairs wants me to end that way, then it ends that way.
That's why you gotta take the leap, because that time is already calculated for. So you don't know. You might. You just got to go and
Hit
do
that
it,
bang
man.
button,
Hit
man.
the bang.
Hit the bang button right there, man. My
know,
guy.
brother.
All right, so that's what we're doing it. We're doing it freaking live. We're doing it live again on ONDS. It goes right back into that area high again off the 10. And then last but not least, your very good friend. Now, a very good friend of mine as well just printed me at 49's Faraday freaking Futures. We only have one out left on this bad boy, so we're just going to hold a piece for the dang dream and see if we can clear that $50, and if we do, by what distance. What the hell is making this thing run up lately? Why does it keep showing up as a small cap gapper that's running on the day? Let's have a look at here with the
Faraday?
Yeah.
I know
started
a
to
guy.
announce major bridge strategy breakthrough on August 16th at Pebble Beach.
Ooh, Pebble Beach.
Okay. All right, we're gonna weasel on up to Adara. She's gonna let us know what's happening now, and then Neil's gonna drop his.
Our guy Davey Day Traders likes.
He likes Faraday.
Yeah.
Have you seen the car?
That he-
Adara, give us 1 second over here. We're just going to show everybody the car, and then we're going to weasel right back up to you there. So Faraday has a car. It's a gnarly looking car. What is Faraday Future? There we go. Let's type in let's see if we can get the image of the car there, Assassino. Yeah, look at this thing, bro. It feels like it should be like in I don't know. How do you feel about
I
this?
like.
Sorry.
That's all right. I really like this one right here.
That one right there.
Yeah,
well, that is it actually, right there.
Yeah.
Let's click that bad boy to see if we can make this a little bit bigger,
cool,
Joey.
man.
Open image in new tab. There we go, and now we can zoom in. Yeah, it looks like it looks like it should have been in Demolition Man, you know, as like a future car that was like,
that, right?
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I like it.
Let's see the
You like
interior.
it?
Hold on. Let's find out what situation. Do we have any interior pictures over here? I accept all. We don't have any interior pictures, Joey, so maybe we'll do that when we get back from Adara, guys.
Is that real?
Hey?
Sorry, is that real?
This one? I think
Yeah.
that's the prototype, like that they were showing people at car shows.
Yeah.
And then that's not what you end up getting IRL. You get something more like this, right? Yeah. Isn't that how it always works? Adara, any thoughts on Faraday Futures here? I know you like cars with hard edges. This one doesn't seem to have too many hard edges.
You're right, Sharif. I do prefer a deeply boxy vehicle. Faraday doesn't really do it for me, though I do think it's funny that one of their catalysts back from where I initially started, so like we're talking fall 2023, one of the guys from selling Sunset apparently bought a Faraday, so that for some reason was a catalyst. FFIE, or I think, yeah, that's their name now. Interesting stuff. That was they previously were FFIE, but either way, let's move away from Faraday and into the Nasdaq. This is a beautiful rounding pattern here on the 15-minute chart for the Nasdaq. We have this nice push up at the open, consolidate a bit, pull back. Then we spent 15 whole, not 15, about 5 whole 15-minute prior our bars here, just making these slightly lower highs. We push up now. Can we make new day's highs above 563, or will we push back lower? That is up for the Nasdaq to decide. The S&P 500 looking actually distinctly different, a little bit more consolidated to the upside. It's already more than cleared its previous high of day back from around 11 a.m. when we got that drop. Let's talk here about TSLA. Good look for Tesla announcing that they have approved a 96 million share award for Elon Musk. Good look for TSLA, the stock, and I guess also to Elon Musk. Then we have Palantir PLTR. This name is actually reporting earnings after the bell tonight. Check it out with Neil and myself. Should be an exciting one. Another exciting one that's pretty closely watched by retail investors, especially HIMS, Hims and Hers, with earnings after the bell too. We'll give all of those for you guys. FIG not having a great day. Figma making another lower high here. This stock opened around 114, currently making a low day around 92.75. So we've already kind of broken below that area that we had that first halt at on day one. Interesting stuff here for FIG. Definitely be careful with that one. But you don't have to be careful here with Neil's lesson of the day. It's sure to be exciting and informative. So Neil, give us your lesson of the day.
Thank you, Adara, and I will. It shouldn't be dangerous, this lesson, but it should. And you know what? Maybe it is. No, it's never. That's not the plan of action. The plan of action is to just find something that the market has told you today and try to give it to you guys as best as I can see it. And obviously, we're a little bit in earnings season here. Maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't. But one of the things that you can see, and I'll preface this because you can also extend it to just any kind of a catalyst, a big catalyst, not necessarily just earnings, but the topic is earnings. And when you have a new price range or a new reality set in a stock, sometimes you get new levels, and it's what you can do with them that gets very interesting here. 2 names reported on Thursday. So you got a full day of trading on Friday, Apple and Amazon. Neither one of them fared all that well on Friday after earnings. Amazon downside, Apple downside. But what was different about the two is simply downside, sellers in control. Where was a peak price where sellers in control? 220 on Amazon. Did they remain in control off the open? Yeah, there was never any push in the pre-market, immediately to the downside, and you essentially got pretty much the same measured move that you would have had on Friday, top to bottom, already today. Now, where could you have gotten involved? I think pretty obviously, you look at where it consolidated on that push right around 216. That was your consolidation push down. Sellers in control, enter the first place possible. You know, I didn't have Amazon on the radar, but that's something you could look at. The other name was Apple. Well, similar story. Down after the earnings, trended down all day long. What was the only place on the 15-minute where this thing even remotely calmed down was about 204.5. So you come in at the open, sellers in control. Nope, buyers in control. This one is trickier because unless you were just, I'm going to go, Sean liked it long, unless you liked the punch long right through off the open, off the quarter, that was your only chance to get in. I think it was kind of a random level at 206. But what happens when you go to the first area of potential resistance, prior support level? There's your curl action. Now, if you're bearish on Apple, there was no reason to get in here. The only way I think you get in that is either you're looking directly at that support or maybe you do some kind of a trend break on Apple. But the point being, if sellers are in control here, you would see it move down and maybe you have a short at 203 like you did with Amazon. When they're not, you don't do anything. Let it fill the gap, see what happens. They reject, you get a trend break, and Apple comes right back into the downside. Now, I said you don't only have to look at earnings for this. You can have a look-see at, I know a lot of people are looking at AEO for obvious reasons. I know Sharif is incredibly excited about this company because of their product, clearly, and nothing else. But we already knew that Sydney Sweeney was fronting this. And we already had, not fronting this, we already knew the news that she was teaming up with American Eagle. And what happened on that day? Well, it was you were essentially holding 1040 after the day before. You get the news, you get the gap up, and the continuation right into 13. And if you look at the bottom on that day, when it came back in, it was about $11.15. So where were we? Because all you're looking for here is, okay, when we have a similar, it's the exact same catalyst, it's just rehashing old news, effectively, and you're at that key price, are buyers or sellers in control at 11.15 at that price, in and around that price. In the pre-market, indeterminate. Right off the open, buyers in control, and it breaks out. And where does it go? Right up in, well, almost up into this 1280. I guess it has some work to do to get to the 1280 to the 13 level. Now, much like Apple and Amazon, had the sellers come into control, I think you probably had a short 11 down into 10.5. So you zoom out, and with the earnings names, it's easy because you just say, okay, well, this is how it traded the day after earnings. So this is where the sellers were in control. This is where I want to trade off of. With AEO, yeah, sure, you've got the same news twice, but there's nothing about the prior day levels that matter as much. I mean, you can break it out at that price, but where you want to see control is back when they had the same news. Aftermarket highs, support on that same day when they announced this team up. That's where you want to see if the buyers are coming right back in. If they are, long. If they aren't, short. And this is the idea behind a continuation play. Just simply identify on the news, whether it's earnings, post-earnings, or post an announcement like this with Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle, what were the key price levels where buyers overwhelm the sellers or vice versa? And then when you get a second crack at those levels, it tells you what direction you want to go, and then you find the trade after that. So we like these plays in earnings season. It's kind of obvious, but hey, you can extend it back to news plays like this. And I think this seems like it's had another 15, 20 cents in it before it gets to resistance, at least on AEO. 18%. Sharif is very excited about this name. And it is entirely due to the products, everybody. Not this gorgeous looking chart at all. Or, you know what, I wouldn't even go there. Let's go back. No, I'm not going to. It's a family show. Back to the boys.
Yeah, let's take a look here at GM. Company apparently selling 19,000 EVs in July. That is up more than 115% year over year. So GM with apparently a pretty impressive July EV sales pushing to the upside. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. Joey, show them what you got going on over there, Joseph, man.
Thank you very much, Adara. Yes, let's go, man. I say what I do and I do what I say, man. I'm telling you, that's how we got. I told you we were going to be adding aggressively into this Bitcoin trade, and then sure enough, we got this nice break of that trend line. A little bit of selling pressure coming in right now, which got me slightly worrisome, but there it is. We enter, boom, 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 and we just continuously add. Is that Aqua who sings that boom, 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 boom?
I think it's the Venga Boys.
Is it Venga Boys? I thought it was Aqua. Remember Aqua?
In my room.
Yeah, I thought that was Aqua. So, yeah, so there it is, guys. That's what we got cooking up here on IBIT. Break through the volume-weighted average price, add, and then sure enough, we're starting to piece a little bit here. I mean, at this pace, I do believe that we can break through that high of the day. Go Ethereum, go. I told you guys the situation with that one, but here it is. We have an inverted hammer candle, which is, I don't like seeing this at all. So let's pray to the crypto gods that this doesn't close like this and see what we got going on here. So break through that. We're laughing to the top side. We're going to continue to climb. I'll just continuously build into this swing position, but Bitcoin working out really, really nice for us. We started 0 for 2 on Tesla, which wasn't good. We dug ourselves a hole. I was telling Sharif, I was punching shares on that one there, and it's unfortunate that it didn't work out for us. I was on the brink of elimination, headshot shutdown, but sure enough, we're starting to climb back here throughout the day. So yeah, a pretty good one. IBIT working out for us, and then we're all out of AMD as well too. So we'll take a look at AMD, boom, boom, right off of those lows, and then we just piece it out right before. So essentially why I got out of this one on the backside of the trend is because you can see that we had the previous high day right there, and you get an aggressive rejection on volume. So I'm like, you know what? I'm thankful for that trade. I'm thankful for my guy Gorev to point that out. And sure enough, we just get out of the trade. If it continues to climb higher, so be it. I only had 10% left, but now our hyper focus is on IBIT.
All right, guys, I want to remind everybody to get in the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. It is super easy. Thanks to Fabian, now you're just throwing in that $sign followed by the 3, 4, or 5-letter ticker. And for everybody in the chat, Sydney Sweeney is not a ticker. So don't put that in there because, you know, it won't register or anything if you put that in there. So just don't do it. Don't put Sydney Sweeney in the ticker box. It's not going to register. You got to put a real ticker. All right?
Ticker Sid.
Right now.
Yeah, so someone did it. SYD, Sid.
All right, so you got to throw in that $sign first for it to register. So make sure you're throwing in that. I had to, Neil. Throw in that $sign. And make sure to register your vote properly, guys.
Is that you, Neil?
What up? Of course it was Neil. Of course it was Neil. No. We're playing for real. Big Bear AI leading the pack right now, guys, with Tesla second place, and then BTBD, which is breaking down below VWAP, also coming in. So make sure you're voting. You guys can vote from literally early in the morning. The second we go live at 8:30 till basically almost 2 o'clock when we start doing the afternoon rundown. So make sure you're having your say every day. Give us the biggest pool of votes so we can have the most accurate data and serve you guys a lot better. So yeah, again, Sydney Sweeney.
How come IBIT never makes the list or ETHA?
You're gonna have to.
What is that?
I don't know. You're gonna need to do a better job pumping it then. You know what I mean?
I'm mad now.
I'm sorry, bro, but like you know, it's the people have spoken.
Yeah,
right? This is a full democratic system here.
100%.
Right. So yes, guys, shout out to you guys. All right,
man.
Go ahead, Joey.
I was going to say, I'm just saying vote at
Vote, yeah.
ETHA
Get
or
into the
IBIT. Do your
throw
boy
an
a favor
IBIT,
at least.
man.
Throw something. There's one like BTBS has 36 subs. What kind of
BTBD, yeah. And I mean,
BTBD?
it's doing nothing. It's
Yeah,
breaking
what kind
down.
of BS is that?
I know. Well,
Wow.
Joey's got his opinion
All
there,
right.
and I happen to agree with him. I'd rather vote for IBIT than BTBD.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Or
just me.
ETHA. So thank you, wannabe
wants
trader.
all
You're not
his-
even a wannabe. You're the real deal.
Oh.
Evander Holyfield, my guy. You're like putting that in there. So
Former
look at-
cruiserweight champ.
Former cruiserweight champion.
Boom.
Gorev, look at the clean breakout on NVDA. Yeah, there we go. Looking really, really nice. I mean, this name is just absolutely phenomenal. I think you're seeing some of the, yeah, some of the.
I love it,
there.
Joey. I love
yeah,
it,
it's
man.
crazy.
It's so good.
I'm all out of this name for a swing trade. I'm holding a little bit in my long-term account here, and I will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. But look at this. You're not even getting any crazy pullbacks in this name, and it's just like bob right back up. And I think there's just too many tailwinds. I mean, the market will obviously always try to find something wrong with it. Like it's like, oh, jobless claims are a little bit up, but that's nothing significant. You know what I mean?
No.
So it's just like, okay, when things are too good, they'll just try to find an excuse to sell. But then you also get the cyclical effect of the market as well too. So you get that move. Hit it.
All right, here we go.
Oh, go,
AEO
brother.
still
There you go,
doing this, so
brother.
we're going to hit the sizzler. Do you know what his name is? Sidney Dean.
Is it? Sidney Dean? I thought that was what's his?
Yes, in the movie. His name is Sidney Dean. In the movie.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty. It's so pretty.
I need that.
Going
I need that.
sizzler.
I need that.
Going sizzler. Yeah, shout out to the name Sydney today. It's that's in theme. All right, guys. AEO app, the day's high. We are at $12.74. We've been involved in this name since 1240. It is stair stepping up. It does feel. You know, you never really know, like a buy program, and there's a new high of day, $12.76 on AEO. This one continues to go. I did not mean for that to rhyme, showing 75s right now as there is a seller at the $0.75 to be expected. I'm going to flatten out here at the $0.25, and then we'll get in maybe a little bit later, but I want to manage some other trades. The other one right now, ONDS into 65 high, coming back down now into 63s. I feel like I will have resting orders on ONDS now to shadow the 20 exponential moving average. And let me make my case as to why. So I perceive ONDS to be finding the money fills at the 20. I saw it over here from 1050 to 1055. It found support at the 20. I see it again at 1130, and I saw it again at 1145. So the money fills have been into that yellow line. That yellow line will always be the 20 exponential moving average on the 5-minute charts on all my black charts. I will not have any variation. So I will put an order here for around 1256, 1257 to add more into ONDS as we do not have that much left. Okay. Likewise here with Faraday Futures into the high day as well. 250 high day. We don't have much left on Faraday either, long from 35s. So I will be looking to get some in. Now, Faraday is a little bit of a different trade than ONDS. It's not looking the same way. They don't have the same areas of support and resistance that I perceive ONDS to be basing it off. So I think I might get in on that flat top break. I perceive that to be the two low 40s, maybe 41s, 42s. If I really want to front run it, maybe put it at 43s. So we'll be looking to add a little bit more here on the Faraday. That's all incumbent upon it holding trend. Okay, so that's what I'm going to keep my eye on. Now, the one that I haven't had any trades on is PTHL. So this one's been kind of looking like it was bull flagging here. As I mentioned, this one only really started doing volume at around 1130, 1135, with the volume bars really coming in fast and furious at around 750,000 shares, right at 1140. So I perceive this one to be a bull flag, even though it did breach the volume weighted average price going down into 112. What I'll be looking for is this hammer candle here to close above VWAP. And then what I'm looking for the other hammer or the subsequent candle to do, so this is the 1215 candle, the 1220 candle, I will insist that actually make a new high. So I'd like it to print something above that $1.20. So that way we'll have held VWAP on a closing basis, and then the candle subsequent to this one actually makes a new high. So that's what I'll be looking for on PTHL. I'll be looking to get into that one as well. Certainly interested in that. VERB, look, I talked smack about this one. I didn't actually talk smack. I just said I wouldn't trade it because it didn't clear the pre-market high. Now, it's expensive as well, in addition to not clearing the pre-market high. But here we go. we made another attempt at that 2250-ish high a day, right? Right over here at 11 o'clock. It failed. It came back in, held VWAP. That's a good thing. Now, what we're doing is we're getting higher lows, but we don't necessarily, though, have higher highs. Let's see if we can work above this 2250 level and start putting some higher highs with those higher lows, Joseph.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Savvy Canadian traders looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3X daily leverage ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing there, folks. So yeah, that's what we got going on. We added to this IBIT position here, guys. Let's go. I mean, if you're gonna swing that bat, you may as well try to swing it to the best of your potential, right? So if you're feeling aggressive, just go with that gut feeling and see if you can get the continuation in strength. I want to see it. Sharif, did you send it to me? I thought you got the picture that we were requested.
She's working.
Oh, I thought
I looked over and she got mad. She's like, "Don't look.
Don't look. Don't look."
Yeah, she wants it to be
All
a
right,
surprise.
So sorry about that one there.
No, it's okay.
So we won't look at that. But ETHA. See, that's the thing. We got some inverted hammer candles right here. We got to keep an eye out on this. And we have a lot of selling pressure on the 5 minutes here on IBIT. So if we continue to sell, I'll just have to hop out of this trade, break even, and it's looking like we want to. So you can see the pressure kicking up, but I think there's going to be another opportunity to get back in onto this Bitcoin continuation. You want to see the volume slowly start to cool off. The longer we hold this base right here, the more confidence I'm going to have in this for us to rebound and then possibly break through. And there it is. We're starting to get a little bit of a move here, but consistent lower highs that we need to just continuously monitor. Once that's snapped, I think we're going to continue on this trajectory to the northeast there, Sharif.
Sorry, I was just firing off a yawn there. All right, shout out. Sorry, thank you, Adara.
You want some iron?
Do I want some iron?
Yeah, iron.
I want to know what kind of iron it is first.
I don't know.
Is it ferrous gluconate? Ferrous sulfate? Right? There's another one. Ferrous fumarate. We sell all these at the store. I'm not a psycho.
I was talking about new iron like that.
Oh, because he bought iron supplements. So what do you want from me, bro? I figure that. All right.
Adara, I know you're taking iron probably as well, too.
Adara, do you smash iron supplements?
All day.
Bang. Green ones, Adara, or the red ones? No worries, no worries. We'll get Adara back when she's ready to go. Let's talk about COMM right now. COMM, guys. Shout out to Meme Palma for mentioning this one. I didn't actually have eyes on this meme, but this one got really aggressive, really quick, right at 4 a.m. The DGen small cap traders like myself could not wait to punch into this, or maybe it was the algos, who knows. Anyway, it looks like we closed out on Friday around 7 mid-80s. By the time 4:30 a.m. came along, we were already trading at around 13 bucks. But that was as good as it was going to get for a while, as that $13 seller a quadruple topped and then it dropped all the way down to about 10 3/4, and it stayed that way, and it basically did bupkis with almost no volume. I wonder if this was halted pending news in the pre, because it wouldn't be volatility held obviously in the pre. But then at 7:45, all hell breaks loose to the high side, and now we've basically got the same area high in regular trading hours as we did in the pre. Look at this, that 14 1/3, 14 1/4 seller, we can't shake him, despite the fact that the real high of day, the official high of day is at 1468. But look at that, look where it happened. In the imbalances at 9:30. So the implied balance open weasels up to 1468 and then drops all the way down, holds the 50 EMA on the 5, and now we're trending back up. So I'm gonna insist, Meme Palma, that it clear that pre-market high. I just really want to stick to my rules as much as I can without breaching them. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it around that 50 penny area. I'm putting an alert around that 50 penny area to let me know if this one is going to weasel into that area. And if it does, I'll have advance notice and I can make my decision as to whether I want to punch in or not. But it's up a very respectable 80 some odd % on the day. Let's throw this on the side chart here. 81 1/3% trading above $14. Let's go to the daily. see which work. Okay, wow, this is not a bad chart, Joey. Usually these small cap gappers come from the depths of hell. Oh, and that's why it's not a small cap gapper, it's a $3 billion stock. Global provider of infrastructure solutions for communications, data center, that's all I want to hear. And entertainment networks. We know what data centers means. It's a euphemism for AI. So keep your eye on this one. COM, super easy ticker to remember, COMM. It's already earned its way onto the side chart, replacing, who are we going to replace here, Joey? BTBD, you suck. We're going to put in COMM instead, and we're going to wait for a top break there. Now, ONDS coming back into my area over here. So we couldn't shake that seller at 66, but luckily we did get that 64 print. Now, here's the deal. On ONDS, I've only got one beak wetter left on Faraday and only one beak wetter left on ONDS. So it is make or break time. I will not be taking anything out here. In fact, I will allow this to go against me into a key area of technical support off which I will buy. Currently on ONDS, the 20 exponential is at 57s. That'll be my first look at. If it holds 57s, we'll pick it up on the curl back up. Otherwise, I'm looking for 51 or low 50s where the volume weighted average price. That's ONDS. And Faraday Futures has been obviously having a hell of a time trying to break that $2.50 seller. So I'm going to be adding Joey in the low 40s or at 40.
Nice. You've seen Trade the Pool here with us for a while now.
Dang.
Now, Trade the Pool has created something special just for you.
Okay.
A free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. Inside, you'll see exactly how they approach the markets, how they manage risk, and what setups they rely on. So you can learn and grow from what actually works. Download it by scanning the QR code on screen or hitting the link in the description.
I like learning and growing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty good thing to do.
Always, man. Always want to just continuously challenge yourself. Speaking of challenging,
Challenge.
there you go. Boom, boom, boom. And then look, we were just feeling ourselves a little bit too much, maybe. I don't know, but that's all right. Feeling myself. But then, yeah, this liquidity grab kind of just forced me to get out of there because we can't allow winning trades to turn into losers. Even though I only took a little bit off, and then I did allow a lot of unrealized gains off the table there, but that's okay. We'll just keep an eye on that. I think that the Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to slowly curl around. So we're going to keep an eye on that, and maybe possibly NVDA as well too. So we're starting to get some indecisions at the highs. So we're just keeping an eye on it. But then you can see the continuous selling pressure here as well too, right? So just lots of topping tail candles. You get that clean inverted. You have the inability to breach and hold there, and now you're just hovering around this neck of the woods. And then look at NVDA as well too. Here, guys, on the 5-minute time frame. Higher the time frame, the stronger the signal. Don't forget that. But again, things don't turn around on a dime all the time, but this is a good start. Indecision at an extreme high. We've traded all the way from an opening price of around 175, and now we're trading at 179, almost to the penny, right? So that's pretty interesting. Geez, with that being said, Joe, thank you for having the options chain and pulling things up that help us look at these things. All right, so let's take a look at the O chain. And see what we got at 179 for size on NVDA, and this is going to determine a lot. I know we have a lot of earnings names too, so just remind me, guys, in the chat. We'll probably do that next time around, is that we'll just go over the expected moves, and then we'll just correlate that with high levels of open interest. So there it is, 180. Here it is, guys. You're seeing it first-handedly. Let's unlock this here so we can move it around. And I can display it to yo. It's so embarrassing, man.
So annoying.
It's so embarrassing. Dude, you know how many times I had to just restart my charts over the weekend? I'm like, how has this bug not been fixed yet?
Oh, dude,
because you know when they don't reload.
For 5 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, I got this in early 2020. It has been buggy for 5 years.
Yeah,
I don't think they care anymore.
No, they're passive. They're just like, yeah, sign up.
Have you noticed they're really trying to pump desktop now rather than trader workstation?
Are they?
Yeah, which is apparently, I asked chat.
Oh, client portal, you mean, right?
No, there's another one called desktop, IBKR desktop, not IBKR workstation. So I asked chat what the difference was. It's a glorified version of workstation.
Do you use portal ever?
I don't.
Like
I know that's the one online.
Yeah. That one's so much easier than this.
But it's not as robust.
Yeah, it doesn't give you all of that stuff. Anyways, guys, back to what we were talking about. 180. No worries. We got to talk about other things. We got a lot to talk about throughout this hour and a half.
Get it, Katina man.
Katina man.
Show that door who's boss.
What do you got for? Oh, you got that thing too. All right. Anyways, yeah, boom. Yeah, he was lifting weights. He's coming in with a vengeance right now. So there it is, guys. Right. So 78,000 open contracts at that 180 strike price. You can see we're slowly starting to cool down right at 179. So let's see if this call wall comes into play. Let's take a look at Palantir because I believe they report tomorrow after the bell.
Okay.
So that's going to be really important to see if we have any high.
Tonight, dude, tonight.
Is it tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, so tonight after the bell. So Palantir tonight after the bell. A couple names tomorrow. 165. 26,800 contracts. There's nothing substantial saying that, hey, we're not going to move to the top side. There's no definitive wall. You obviously want to look at the largest size, and that's going to be 23,000 at 180, and that's totally absorbable in my opinion. So, yeah, just keep an eye out on that one there. Nothing on the put side, too, so watch out so it could potentially sell as well, too. A lot of potentials, but that's the thing. You got to gauge what can and cannot happen, and then base trades off of that one. But Palantir looking like it wants to break through some resistance zones. You can see that it's now formed that V-shape reversal here. So consolidation, liquidity grab, V-shape, consolidate, boom, push through the top there. So that's a pretty good look in Palantir, Sharif.
Yeah, Martin, I messaged you right back. My thoughts exactly on that, guys. All right, guys, Open Door is doing things, and there's a reason why it's doing things. Let's talk about it. It's up 13 somewhat %, but it really hasn't cleared some technical areas. Now, what they did do was they canceled the reverse split. So, Adair, you reported on this already, right? Yeah. Open Door? Yeah, thank you, Adair. Okay, let me just load this up. Where'd it go?
Or like it was on our watch list anyway that they
Got it.
regained Nasdaq compliance. But yeah, I didn't like report it verbally, but it was in the watch list.
Thank you, Adair. Appreciate that one. So here's the deal. Open Door stock soars as it dodges delisting and cancels a reverse split. So what's the interesting thing here? After months of uncertainty over whether the company would remain listed on the Nasdaq, it announced last Friday it secured compliance with the exchange's rules and scrapped a contentious reversed stock split in progress. The issue stemmed from the minimum bid price. We know you've got to be above that buck to maintain compliance. Otherwise, the Nasdaq gets very upset and they boot you off. Then you got to go see Jeff Mendy and have a conversation with the OTC Markets Exchange. Shout out to him. Anyway, 240 we're currently trading at, but this one also suffers from the same affliction as some of these other small cap gappers in the sense that it is not above the pre-market high. The pre-market high is that staunchy level of 252. Those are the wicks, the closing prints, all at or below the 50 penny area. So we're not that far away, 10 pennies, and it's got a good little move up here with higher lows, breaking through VWAP, but coming into that area of resistance. Let's see how it trades at 250. If it wants to clear it, we'll get involved. Now that we know about it, we'll keep an eye out on Open, OPEN, super easy is the ticker. All right, guys. We're done our trade on American Eagle. We're basically at the same spot where we got out, despite the fact that it made a high gain to 79. I'm looking for a deeper retracement here on AEO where it's not giving. There's only been one breach of the 10 EMA on the 5 ever since it reclaimed that level at 950, and that was a doji candle at 1140. That was it. This one right here. And look where I got in right after that. Okay, that was the second edition. So AEO is very, very strong on the day, but so is ZYXI. I mentioned this one earlier, and here we are right back into that 180 area again, where the sellers have been stepping in basically all day, essentially from the open after onwards. Now, it's got a flat top at that $180, but look at the area lows, all higher lows, right? So this one could be, a flat top break candidate. Now, this one obviously had a very bad day on Friday. It started selling around 10:45, and it really didn't stop selling until the close. So it is finding a bit of a rebound day, but you will have technical areas of resistance in and around that $2 area. That's where we were trading in the earlier part of the day on Friday. ZYXI is the ticker I'm talking about there. COMM continues to trade below the pre-market high, where I've set an alert. So I'm waiting for a possible triggering here of the alert on COM, in which case I'll get in if it is appropriate to do so at the time. But ONDS is now coming into the 20 exponential. And as you can see from what it's already done on the day, the 20 exponential has been absolute money on ONDS. So I'm going to punch in here because we don't have any more. We have like almost no shares left. So I'm going to punch in on ONDS at this level, and if it breaks the higher low area, then we're out. Simple as that. So let's go ahead here and punch at 50. I think I got 58s there on ONDS with the idea that it holds a 20 exponential. If it doesn't, that's fine. We'll get out on the break of 55. So it's as simple as that. Let's go ahead and set up the order there so we can take account of the move down if it does happen. And let's go ahead and take a beak wetter here at 60s, and then we'll layer also into 62. So keeping an eye here on ONDS. How's my other friend Faraday doing on the day? Still holding the 10 EMA. Now it has a whole bunch of lower highs essentially from 10:55 onwards. It's 12:33, so it's been more than half an hour of lower lows and lower highs, but it is, again, above that technical area of support, the 10 EMA, which is currently on my charts anyway at $2.45. So let's be on the lookout here for a possible add opportunity on Faraday Futures, up 22 2/3, and it really isn't giving up the ghost. It doesn't mean it won't. So we'll be trading that one cautiously. All right, we already got the beak wetter there on ONDS after another 20 EMA pullback and bounces right back up, showing 61s. Now I'm waiting at 62. Let's go ahead and also wait at 63. And we'll see what we can get in and around that area, Joey. So that's all I've got on the moment right now. Bart Natoli. I just finished talking about Open, brother. I just gave you my opinion on that, which was it has that $2.50 seller from the pre-market, and I just won't trade it until it clears a pre-market high because I don't want to have to deal with the short sellers or bag holders that are obviously gunning for that level. They did it twice, well distanced apart too, 4:20 a.m. and then again at 8:25. So that 2.5 seller, it really isn't about the time frame. It's basically the level. Bart Simpson, M1G, wait, thought you were looking for me. No, there's this other Bart, I think because all the names are skewed, Bart J. Natoli, that's the person I was speaking to there. Sharif, please do FIG, say less. Let's have a look at Figma, see what it's up to on the day, even though, I try to stay away from these ones. Get it, Katina, man. The Katina Man is still short 101s at these levels. And now it is almost $10 in the money. It was almost $10 in the money, Katina Man, because the low day, 92.75. It seems like it's lower lows and lower highs, a symphony of lower lows and lower highs. This thing's down 22 4/5%. So a big move down after that very, very well-received IPO from last week. Well traded on the floor here. I don't know what the numbers are with the floor, but a lot of the boys on the other side as well had it. So maybe we'll get that data as it trickles in. But yeah, very, very well received by the market last week, Joey. You got to say it's one of the strongest ones off the bat in recent memory. Like I know that Circle was also very well received. We had like a low 30s IPO price. Thing ended up open 69, high 69s, low 70, something like that.
Yeah.
So it was also quite well received.
That was crazy. That was a lot of fun to trade, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
And you know what? The thing about that is you never want to say it's a sure thing, but when you keep seeing the oversubscription at the open, like we knew that it was already oversubscribed at the IPO level. So initially, Joey, they were talking 30 to 30. Sorry, 29 to 31. Then all of a sudden it was 32. So just from the trader investors at the bank level, oversubscribed. Then we have a look at the TAP, the theoretical auction price on opening day. It's popping $5 every 5 minutes. So the oversubscription kind of is tipping the hand, at least of the market, maybe at the open. I wonder how long that lasts.
I mean, we've seen it a couple times, right?
You know what I mean?
That's the thing before it's caught on to. Who knows, right? So again, you just got to keep hammering it until otherwise. So we can try it on the next big IPO and see if the same thing happens, if you get that oversubscription. If not, then just obviously follow what the price action is telling you. But yeah, very, very interesting stuff on that one. Shout out to IBM, though. I was talking about this name. I'm pretty sure Neil's in IBM as well too. So I mean, it's been selling for a bit, but here it is, right? So I think this is a good potential swing this guy, man.
Yeah, don't worry about what I'm doing, bro.
I know you're
Why
doing
are you telling everybody what I'm doing?
I never said anything. I said this guy. Anyways.
She likes the price action right now on AEO.
Yes,
I mean, how could you not like the price action on AEO? Every time I look at this,
how many shares do you think she got?
That's a great question. Should we ask Perplexity that question?
Let's ask
Perplexity. See what Perplexity has to say.
AEO.
How many shares did Sydney Sweeney get for her collab with AEO? Let's see what it says. Does it understand what I'm even saying? Okay, let's see. Come on. Show yourself information. It has to check everything first. You gotta like how
I think
thorough
Apple
is
should
that
just
is,
throw
eh?
all their.
There's no public evidence that Sydney Sweeney received any shares or equity as part of her collaboration with American Eagle for their high profile. So there's no proof that she even has any shares, Joey. So it's just an assumption by us here.
Yeah, I believe it's totally an assumption. But I mean, if I'd be like, hey, just throw some equity at me and see what's going on. We got ourselves a deal.
I like equity.
I was gonna say something here. Okay, yeah, IBM. You can see that we have multiple indecision prints right here. So this could be a really nice potential swing trade right there, guys. And same with CCL, right? CCL, and if you go across the board in this space, so you go DAL, we'll go through a couple of these names. Same kind of pattern. AAL. Oops, I hate how you have to click it every time. I'll go over that super chat here momentarily. AL, not so much. NCLH, kind of the same thing, a hammer, but on some strong trends. All right, super chat. I thought we had a couple of them.
I tagged it, Daryl.
So Akasha Rupaleri. Sorry if I butchered that. Obviously, I did. So thank you, Adara. Yeah, $2 Canadian. Much appreciated. Here's to what you're saying. Thank you, Adara, for the Indian news. Made $10K on Apple.
Dang.
Puts. Apple puts.
Oh.
Where?
Thank you for the super chat and support to the show, Akash. Always happy to just provide the news and happy that helped.
Got it.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Okay, so there it is, 10K on Apple puts there. So you must have been heavy, and especially if you caught those highs there, because you're getting a nice move from 207 to around 204. So 10K, we like those types of numbers, 5-digit days, or the ones that we like here. For sure, no questioning that. IBIT not doing what I was expecting it to, so that's okay. We only have this in the long term, so we're not going to be too upset about that. Ethereum, we got the swing trade cooking up here. I'll show you guys that position here momentarily. ETHA 2776, so we're slightly in the money on there. I told you my ordeal on Friday on what was going on to it, so I almost got out of the complete position, and then sure enough, it wouldn't allow me to, and I was kind of snapping and kind of put a damper on my day. But then I'm like, wait, it's trading. We can't allow it to do that. Okay, what was I going to do here, Sharif? We're going to take a look at some expected moves for after the bell. So just before, because I know we're headed into that realm of we're going to hop into the news, but let's take a look into Palantir. So we did already take a look at the chain. There's something around 180 from an open interest standpoint. Now let's take a look at the EM here, implied move, 10.8%. That's pretty lofty there, my friend. So that can put us a high of around 177.24 and a low of around 142.74. All right, so just keep that in mind. That's your expected move. And then also we'll take a look at another name that is reporting. We got HIMS. That's the one I was looking for. HIMS. So shout out to HIMS. I bought some other stuff. What is it called? Biotin? Yeah, Biotin. I bought some of that over the weekend.
What does that do?
I don't know. I think it supports hair growth.
Does it actually?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm
It's like,
talking about, right?
I don't think that's not for men though. It's just good for hair in general.
Is it? Well,
yeah, it's not like for men.
It's
specifically.
Yeah,
it's good in general.
Yeah, it's just supposed to promote this stuff. So we'll see how it's all organic because I'm not going the minoxidil route again.
I can't do this anymore. I told you about finasteride.
I know. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try it out. I want to stick to the organic stuff first, and then we'll build up from there.
I
Because I had a
swear
really
to
bad
you, it
experience.
doesn't work in the same way.
No? Yeah.
I swear up and down.
Yeah,
you can check with the chat.
Okay, so maybe we'll double dose up on that one there. So HIMS, 15.5% expected move, 197.7% implied volatility. So the market's already pricing in these big time moves. Let's pull up the chain to see what we got going on here. 1 second before we send it to Adara, I want to take a look at something on HIMS options chain to see if there's anything specific that's telling us, hey, we have call or put walls at these levels. We're not going to pass, and if they do, watch out for a gamma squeeze. All right. So on this week's expiration cycle, obviously not the most liquid underlying or derivative here. 65 has 2,600 contracts. We do have a little bit of a wall at 60, right? So 3,104. 40 contracts at that, but other than that, nothing substantial. I wouldn't even be paying any sort of mind towards that options chain because there's nothing that stands out and is like, hey, what's going on? Yes, let's go, Ether. Sorry, Adair, sorry for keeping you waiting, but there it is. Ethereum continuing to break through. I thought that thing was going to turn around, but we like seeing this one. We bought a whole lot more over this morning and on Friday because I couldn't get out. You just buy more. Adair, what do you get for us?
Just keep an eye here on Apple. AAPL trying to curl here off of the lows. Goldman Sachs apparently announced it, or I guess reporting that Apple App Store spending is up 13% in July. I think this note might have come out earlier, but it's just being circulated on social media now. And Apple responding very well. Again, AAPL up as we're seeing circulated on social media. Apparently, Apple's App Store spending up 13% for the month of July. Back to you.
Interesting. All right. I'm going to cover a couple of small cap gappers that are making moves here. You guys are talking about VERB as well as you should be because it's up 108%. But I still am advising you guys to be cautious on this. I love the higher lows. It's a very, very clear uptrend, but you also have very obvious lower highs. There's many things that are wrong. One, we're not above the pre-market high. Two, there's this area crest here from 11 o'clock that we're still well below. That area went to 21.5, and this time we reject off 20.5. It doesn't mean that it's going to be like that forever and ever more. Sure, you can break through that 21.5, but when we get there, then we'll talk about it. So yeah, keep an eye on VERB. I see you guys talking about COM as well, COMM. I'm watching that one. I have my alert on COMM at 14, high 50s. I have it 10 pennies below the pre-market or the actual day high at 14.68. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. Everything okay over there? Oh, yeah, okay. Neil was cleaning the screen. That was the gates of hell animation. I thought, like, the market was tanking.
Oh, yeah. Remember when he was like, hey, Joe, you got to clean your keyboard? I'm like, man, I don't know about that, brother.
I think we just need new keyboards. I think I've been 3 years deep with this one, and it's seen better days. So there's plenty of good keyboards around, too, in this office. Plenty.
Oh, yeah.
Just about getting them. Anyway, so yeah, VERB and COM are fantastic. Joby's also coming into a predictable area, guys. It came into the 20s, finding some support. It's got a 20.95 high. It's trading at 20.75. So keep your eye on that one. Joby's strong on the day. What else? ONDS, the one I'm involved in. Faraday Futures is still not really off that high by that much. I think the best peak order we had there was at 49s. It's moving down into 45. So there's plenty strong on the day. Open as well. I've got my eye on Open. I feel like I should take off one of these ones here to keep my eye more thoroughly. Yeah, we're going to take off PTHL because it lost the volume weighted average price. Open is really going, okay? So the strength on this one is really showing up. OPEN into that 250 high. This is the level we were talking about. Now it's going to have to clear that double top that it put in the pre. So it did it really early on at 420, and then it did it again at 825. So there is a seller at 2.5. Let's shake that seller, and then maybe we can squeeze up a little bit more. So this one is not going to get delisted. They've regained compliance according to reports with the Nasdaq, so they're good to go. And the market rewarding them today to the tune of 18.5%. So open door, ticker open, certainly putting in higher highs and higher lows. So we'll keep tabs on that one, Joey. Anything you got before we weasel into the news?
Bitcoin's starting to climb back towards this key pivot level here.
Okay.
So it held that base really well. You can see that we were in add a little bit more, and then we get stopped out, but it based out here, and then sure enough, it's heading towards some key levels right now. So I want to see how that's going to react around there. Palantir doing that V-shaped pattern that we always talk about.
Okay.
And then NVDA putting in another 5-minute hammer right here at the low. So I think that's the only pullback you're going to get in this name. Wow, Bitcoin. Oh, my days. Anyways, all right. So, yeah, that's what we got going on. It's unfortunate Bitcoin's ripping. Palantir
finally.
to the top side, and yeah, that's what we want. Gaurav, this is what I was talking about earlier, right? It's just like I was gonna say, you just gotta follow this volume. It is in no man's land, but just this pullback that was such a weird amount of volume compared to everything else, and then sure enough, look what the stock is doing. So we'll note that down for next time, right? Next time we have the kind of, we'll just keep that pattern recognition in our mind, even though the stock wasn't doing anything. And look at this candle, and then now look at Bitcoin start to rip to the top side. So that's unfortunate that we missed out on this trade here, but that's okay. We'll find another one. But yeah, let's hop right into this news. We've got a couple earnings reports and some other things to talk about.
Yeah, we'll start off with Tesla, Joey, because your friend Elon was in the news this morning. So the board's going to give him that $29 billion pay package. Not as big as the 2018 one was, but there are some things that overlap. So let's talk about it. We know what happened back last year with that Delaware judge voiding Elon's pay package twice, even after shareholders voted for a second time to reinstate it. The judge knows more. The judge is better equipped. Move aside, shareholders. Okay, so Musk began appealing this judge's decision in March, arguing that she made multiple errors in her ruling. That is still to be decided. However, the board took its own actions today, granting Musk 96 million Tesla shares. I have to interrupt here because COM is taking out pre-market highs. So COMM, guys, we were talking about this one, and it just got into that high day, 1468. So if it clears it, be on the lookout. COMM is the ticker. Okay, so they gave him 96 million shares worth around $29 billion based on Friday's close, and they carry an exact price of $23.34, which is the identical price that he was granted in that 2018 pay package that was voided. The new package is designed to boost Musk's voting power over time, reinforcing his influence on Tesla, which is what he asked the board for and what shareholders voted for as well. So we'll see how this one jives with the court if it is to be challenged. Something tells me it's just a matter of time. People really like Elon these days, so I'm sure people will be very excited to pay him. The shares rose 2% in the pre-market. They're up 2 1/5 right now on the news of the equity reward. Investors and Musk alike view voting power as essential to executing Tesla's long-term vision over the years. And the board, in this particular case, emphasized the award balances Musk's many commitments and ensures his attention stays on Tesla. I don't have the details of this, Joey, but I was reading reports this morning that part of this pay package includes clause. A clause is to make sure that Elon's attention stays on Tesla as much as possible, because they did not like, meaning the board, his foray in politics, as well as that beef with your very good friend
Daniel Ives. Oh, Donald. Okay, I thought you were going to go with the beef with Dan. Well, essentially, this is what Danny Ives asked for,
Go
right?
for it, yep.
This is exactly what he asked for. Essentially, when Elon told him to shut up, Dan, it's just essentially a leash on this guy. It's like, hey, you got to spend X amount of time in this office. You have to focus on Tesla. And we know that he was looking for, I think, that 16% control of the company, so he can really, really manipulate what Tesla does in the future regarding AI. He wanted control of the company for part of those reasons as well, too. So now he's getting issued those shares. I think he's going to get it, and now he can kind of just take the company on the trajectory that he wants to. So just keep that in mind. Tesla, I still personally don't love this name just yet from a technical standpoint. We'll pull up Tesla here momentarily. I was trading it this morning as well too. So just keep in mind, right? I think that its core business, you got to still understand its core business, and I still understand, and I mentioned this before, it's the most forward-looking stock on the planet, in my opinion, right? So, but just still understand the core business. Car business is really, really tough. EV sector, especially when you're losing market share literally around the globe. All right, so just keep that in mind. Let's see if we can break through. You're going to get that positive catalyst. Price is really starting to compress, and then eventually you're going to break through, but you just need something to kind of spark that fire, and then sure enough, maybe we'll get something positive in. I don't know if this is true or not, but my friend just recently bought a Cyber. he posted on it. But then he said he also bought an Optimus. I didn't know you could. I don't know if he was lying about it, but he said he actually. I think he so he's in the States right now. So yeah.
No, I think they were available anywhere. Is that?
I don't know if I don't. Yeah, I wish I could show you the snap, but yeah, he locked in. He locked in the cyber. So the cyber was in the driveway, and then he said he also. Maybe it's a pre-order for Optimus or something along those lines. But yeah. So apparently he said. So it's either he's either capping or he's just joking around. But I don't think he is because the Cybertruck was in the driveway. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. If the Cyber's in the driveway, it's in the driveway.
Yeah, and the Optimus you said purchased as well too.
Fantastic. Look, Adara, what's your view on this new pay package over here? You think this holds up to legal muster, or it's just a matter of time until this one gets shot down too?
I'm going to take a kind of weird side of this. As you guys know, I'm very in tune with the Tesla bulls on X. Now, if you're thinking, what are the Tesla bulls on X? There's a massive Tesla bull community on X. The leader here, actually, you can see her comment on this Dan Ives post, to which Elon said, "Shut up, Dan." Alexandra Mers, aka Tesla Boomer Mama, she is by far one of like the most, I guess, vocal Tesla shareholders. She was a huge part of that 2024 vote back in June of 2024. So it's interesting, Sharif, as you said, more or less, this is exactly what Dan Ives suggested, and yet the Tesla bulls were absolutely not a fan of Dan Ives' suggestion. Neither was Elon Musk himself, but now it actually comes through. People seem to be a little bit more settled with it. We'll have to wait and kind of see what happens. Apparently, one individual, it was actually Tesla Boomer Mama, asked Grok, how long is it going to take Elon Musk to get that full voting power with these shares? Apparently, Grok estimated September 4th, 2025. I'll have to read more about it to see how he got to that estimate. But either way, it's pretty interesting stuff. We know that Tesla bulls they're as much Elon bulls as they are Tesla bulls. So they really are invested in this company for Elon Musk. So him staying there, I think, is huge. It'll be interesting to see if he ever does leave or if some things fall through here, what happens to, I think, the perception of the company from those who are really heavily involved.
Did you get any more information about this this kind of like piece of data over here? It says it's going to boost Musk's voting power over time. Are these shares gonna like vest over time, or do you know anything about this?
Well, that's what I just mentioned, right? So people are saying, I mean, potentially, according to Grok, September 4th, 2025. I'm not sure how they're going to do that. That part I still need to look into. But either way, apparently this is like an interesting part because we know Elon Musk does want that 25% voting control, and people view that as a good way to keep him at the company.
Sounds good. Thank you for that, Adara. Definitely like the Danny Ives look there. Guys, VERB is breaking out. Guys, be careful here. Here we go. It's taking out the pre-market high, VERB. It's got the rampage move to the high side into $23. It looks like it's about to take it out. It's very spready. VERB is the ticker, $23 high, really rocketing up. It's taking out this local area high as well as the pre-market high. Be careful trading it, though, because it's awfully spready and quite dangerous from what I've seen. Let's talk about Palantir. This one reports after the bell. Is it you or Neil? It's Neil and Adara today on the Market Recap Show. Make sure to catch that with them as Palantir, I do believe, reports at 4 or 5 or 4, something like that, 4 or 5. All right, here we go. Wall Street expecting Q2 revenue to come in just shy of $1 billion, around $939 million. That would be an almost 40% bump year over year on that top line number, with free cash flow expected to be about $330 million, which is about 35% of sales. Fantastic look there. Operating income expected to come in at around $400 million, well ahead of last year's number there. And it's really kind of being viewed here as a profitable growth stage AI defense software company, which is very much in vogue at the moment. The regional distribution of revenue is quite one-dimensional here. It's 38% in the United States, 29% in the UK, and the international markets just about 8%. So I'm not sure where the rest of the percentage is, but that's what the article said there. And mostly they are involved in government and military contracts. We've seen a lot of emphasis lately by Alex Karp and crew to really focus on those commercial contracts, which, to be fair to them, have grown in number and in percentage, but still very much dominated by government and military. Now, they had multiple different contracts with the Army, all of which now have been consolidated into one agreement, one single agreement there worth $10 billion and extended up to 10 years. They're using the Titan AI system that Palantir has made, which really is basically highlighting Palantir as the software leader in military. So in case you want to know more information about this Titan, what it is, it's a mobile-driven AI battlefield data analysis unit for soldiers. It's software built by Palantir, and the hardware that goes with it built by Northrop Grumman as well as L3 Harris. And we saw, I think about maybe 6 months ago, the CEO of L3 Harris with Alex Karp on CNBC, and you could just feel the CEO of L3 Harris just wanting the ground to swallow him up, because we all know how Alex Karp does, baby. This marks obviously a new paradigm in the U.S. military procurement here, with software being the one that's leading the way as opposed to hardware. It had always been hardware, Joey. We've got more to say, but you got something to do.
Yes, sir. VinFast delivered over 35,800 EVs in Q2 of 2025, marking a 172% jump from last year. That brings the first half total to more than 72,000 EVs, up 220% year over year, with stronger sales usually in the second half. They're on pace to easily double 2024's 97,000 units. They're also crushing it on two-wheelers, with nearly 70,000 e-scooters and bikes sold in Q2, up 432% from a year ago. And with gas-powered two-wheelers being phased out in Hanoi and in Ho Chi Minh City by 2026, the growth potential looks huge. You can find them out on the Nasdaq under ticker VFS.
All right, so shares closed at about $154 on Friday, with analysts really in disagreement about what the price should be for this stock. We've got price targets from $40 all the way up to $178. So no consensus here, but we do know that it's trading at 81 times the expected EPS, much higher than its peers on the Nasdaq 100. But to be fair to Palantir as well, it's also beaten earnings 14 times out of the last 18 quarters since going public, essentially. The average stock price movement after earnings is quite wide. It's plus or minus 16%, making it obviously a key name for these active traders, guys. So Palantir after the bell, 405 with Neil and Adara at on the Market Recap show. But Joey, give us your opinion.
I mean, Palantir's been fantastic, right? And you talk about the beats on EPS revenue for, what would you say, 14 straight quarters it was? It was just continuing.
14 out of the last 18. Yeah,
so that's just solid numbers, right? And you can see, obviously, as you mentioned, you're getting an increase in commercial and government contracts. That's a growth cycle. And this is the kind of fundamentals that you want to look out for. And that's kind of what I identified in Robinhood as well, too. So just keep in mind, we're knocking on the door of an all-time high, and I wouldn't be surprised if Palantir gaps up after the earnings report, just considering it's just continuous growth and they're just always adding more contracts and more contracts. So I think Palantir, maybe not up here, not necessarily a buy. You want to get involved on the dips, but at the end of the day, this company is still growing at a rapid pace, and I think that's something solid to look into there with Palantir.
Adara, how are you looking at this at this trade or this earnings report? How would you approach this?
I think their military spend is a double-edged sword. Now, you might be like, Adara, how? It's awesome for them. Yes, but because I think, we used to joke every day Palantir gets a new military contract. Because we, have the Army restructuring their contract itself, and then we also have that announcement of that massive OpenAI military deal, I think there is a real fear that there could be some change in how its contracts are structured continuously, and B, there could be more competitors on watch. So I actually think that I'd be curious to see if they address this on the call. That would be interesting. We know that Alex Karp himself is very interested in the defense and military aspect of Palantir. That L3 Harris interview with both CEOs that you were referring to, Sharif, actually had Alex Karp say that it should be the Department of Offense and not the Department of Defense. So he's very big on offense or defense, depending on how you want to phrase it. Either way, I just have this infographic up. This is up to date as of Q3 2024. I will likely update it before the earnings tonight, but basically just kind of shows this is the steady revenue growth. It's really gorgeous. It honestly looks like they've just continuously grown revenue quarter over quarter. And this starts with their IPO here in 2020. This green line, this lighter green line, is their earnings reaction, and this is super choppy. Like they'll do anything from up 30% on earnings to down like 20% on earnings. So this name tends to react pretty viciously, not always necessarily to the upside. Be very careful with PLTR earnings, in my opinion.
Great look there.
I think if, as long as Americans increase military spend, they're going to benefit from this. Palantir is going to benefit from this. So.
But you got to keep in mind they're trading way ahead of EPS, so a lot of the exuberance in the military expansion, obviously, you got to figure some of it's discounted at this point, meaning priced in. Who knows how far this goes? But I wouldn't be standing in front of this thing. I'll tell you that.
No, there's no way.
All right, let's talk some Figma. So let's see, are we still down 20-some-odd% on Figma on the day? Let's have a look. FIG, we're down 22 1/3. So we know what this one did last Thursday. Soared 250% on its first trading day, moving up from, I think, a $19 billion market cap almost to a $60 billion market cap within one trading day. The company's become one of the most successful IPOs in recent memory. We'll see if that can last. It's down below $100 on the day. In case you don't know what they do, if you haven't really been exposed to Figma or not in the industry, they leverage AI to kind of simplify design workflows, eliminate the kind of the need for the deep technical skills. It allows users to kind of collaborate, prototype, generate UI, which is user interface elements, with no prompts or coding knowledge required. So you can kind of do it all without that deep technical knowledge. They do boast about 13 million clients worldwide, and they have about 615 Fortune 500 companies. How does that even work? 615 Fortune 500 companies should be limited to 500, as the name denotes, including top names like Google and Microsoft. Paid customers are apparently growing fast, very fast, with revenue jumping last year for 2024. That is 48% year over year, up to about $750 million in that top line revenue number. With this type of enterprise traction, it's really the key reason here why the stock jumped with a premium valuation. And as Joseph and I were just talking about, the IPO was so oversubscribed, with demand far exceeding the supply, pushing the price up. As we saw, this thing, the IPO ended up printing at $32 a share, which was already above the 29 to 30 or 31 that was being guided by some of these investment banks, but it opened up at $85. That is a huge demand imbalance there. So we'll keep looking for that in future IPOs. The valuation, as I mentioned, Joey, sky high, trading at 59 times 2025 expected revenue. Haven't even gotten there yet, suggesting the expectations for future growth is massive in this case, Joey.
Figma, yeah, I mean, this was obviously one of the, sorry, I don't know why I typed in the thing. So yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty good. Actually, sorry, I take that back. I'll eat those words really quickly. So you can see that you get this open up around $85. You push it all the way up to 142, and now you're trading at 94.50. Right, so that's why you want to wait for enough data to come out in order for you to base trades off of this. You don't want to just be going, oh, hey, Figma moves up $60 in its first day of trading. Yeah. Let me get involved in this. Well, sure enough, 2 trading sessions later, you're right back to where you started, essentially. So just keep in mind, for me, it's even across the board, right? So we'll just go take a look at Circle to see what we have going on with that. Boom, big time move. And I mean, excuse me, you haven't retraced completely, but you still at that peak of $300, you're down 50% from that standpoint. So just keep in mind, you want to wait for these things to cool off a little bit before you get involved, unless you have the ability to get in right at the open. You limit on open that, just hold that for as long as you can until it comes back to your break even or you're out of the money on these IPOs. I think they're really, really risky to be swing trading or investing for the long term. You want to cool off first.
Adira, what do you make of what's being spoken about here with these investment banks leaving money on the table purposely here, Adira? Could they have been so wrong that there was such a huge demand side imbalance that they priced it so far below what the market was actually willing to pay for it? Have you read what I'm talking about? Or
I mean, I've heard some of it. I've heard discussions about it. I think what's really interesting here with Figma that we didn't really see with other notable IPOs like CoreWeave, Circle, with all three, we saw the price, gradually increasing out of the IPO. Only with Figma did we see the price increase and then pull back. It actually opened about $20 lower than the highest price we were seeing. So highest price I was seeing anyway, about 105. Opening around 85 in terms of the implied open. Now, here's the Figma daily chart, and I want to bring this up. Obviously, we've only had 3 days of trading because this does look a bit different. I don't want to say distinctly different, but a bit different from what we saw with CoreWeave and Circles. So day 1, we have this beautiful performance. Day 2, gap up, sell off. Day 3, yuck, for lack of a better term. But let's talk about our two similar IPOs that we had earlier. And by I say similar in terms of like how they performed. CRCL, day one, strong performance. Day two, gap up, sell higher. Day three, gap up, sell off, but not significantly so. And then CoreWeave actually kind of waffled its first 2 days, but got a nice leg up on day three. So I would say there's a bit of a difference here between how Circle's performing, or sorry, how Figma's performing versus these other two. It seems a little bit weaker from the jump in a way that we didn't necessarily see with CoreWeave or Circle, in my opinion anyway, just in terms of how it's performing on day three.
Yeah, I definitely got that feeling as well. It dropped a lot more aggressively than the other two. We saw how long it took CoreWeave to break down, but I started looking at the actual daily chart to make correlations between the price action of Circle and CoreWeave while they were making their moves. The market was also making higher lows. This one, though, Figma, that is, actually, came in at an inopportune time because the Friday, the second day of trading, the market dropped heavily on that NFP and tariff headline. So I wonder if it's kind of a product of that as opposed to itself. So we'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. Price don't lie, as they say, ball don't lie. Let's talk about Coinbase getting downgraded today from Compass Point, from neutral to sell and dropping that price target almost $100. I'm going to pause for 1 second because I have to tell you about what's going on in the market. COM is breaking out. It's a $15 high. It's up 91%. VERB is rocketing up into $26. This thing is really going now. A triple-digit winner on VERB. And it's rocketing up. And then Open has taken out all the levels. Good look for OPEN. It's into the high of the day at 256. So you have three, I don't want to call them small cap gappers because some of them may not be, but small cap gapper like stocks, all really making big moves. COMM, VERB, and OPEN, all aggressively to the high side right now. If you're into the small caps or you're looking trade momentum names, have a look at those.
Let me touch on Ethereum and
Absolutely,
Bitcoin here
Joey.
as well,
Go
too, as they continue to move higher. Why does it do that, man? What a frustrating thing. So there it is. Ethereum breaking out right here, guys. Now up to $28, and same with Bitcoin cracking through that previous high of the day. So just keep that in mind. This is some big time moves. It's unfortunate that we got out of Bitcoin when we did and didn't hop back in, but it is what it is, right? So I had a strong feeling I was going to do this on today's session. This is why we got involved in this, but still an inside day from Fridays. Boom, boom, boom. You add to this one. We take a little bit off. We look for the continuation, and eventually I just get out. But there it is. This is where you have to get back in, especially when you see that volume start to kick in, and then sure enough, you start to climb higher. So that was a really good look there on IBIT. And then sure enough, I was thinking, hey, Ethereum, you're going to start selling around 27.72. It says, no, we're going to take an additional leg higher, consolidate, and then do another pop in the crypto space. So just keep an eye out on these two names. They're really, really strong, and I think Ethereum's going to continuously be strong. That's why I'm involved heavily in this name.
All right, man. So despite the downgrade today by Compass Point on Coinbase, at least it was on Friday, the stock to date is still up 28 2/3%. Far outperforming, obviously, the S&P and the Nasdaq. So be on the lookout. Could be an interesting time to pick up coin. Never financial advice. Let's talk about what their earnings report was last week because it was not well received. They missed on a lot of expectations. EPS, one of the only kind of nice points there, that beat. Revenue missed. Transaction sales missed. There was a lot of stuff that missed, guys. Go back and have a deeper look at the earnings report. Transaction revenue as well, which is a key segment for analysts, fell short of the consensus, and analysts see the transaction revenue miss here as a red flag, a canary in the coal mine, so to speak, on what should be a tailwind from the ongoing, I should say, crypto rally. And they see possible weakness here in retail sentiment, especially as it relates to crypto. So analysts at Angle cited weakening earnings trends in Q2 and Q3, forecasting as well a choppy Q3 or Q4 that is, with low August-September seasonality. And he says the retail interest in crypto-linked equities appears to be fading. That's his opinion. Also, yeah, well, it's just, I already told you that earlier. Yeah. Also, he sees as well stable coins now acting as competition to these regular blockchain coins like Bitcoin, Ether, etc. He sees rising competition in the stable coin space is seen as a threat to Coinbase's long-term revenue share, and stable coins pegged to fiat like USDC and USDT are increasingly crowding the field and could compress margins, according to our Fred there, Ed Engel. And just to give you an idea about valuation for coin trading, at least it was on Friday, at 44 times forward earnings, nearly double what the S&P 500 average is, which is about 23 times forward earnings. And Engel sees very limited room for multiple expansion without stronger revenue catalyst at this price point, Joey. So, yeah, you know, kind of a bit of a damper here on the Coinbase bulls.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so he obviously they have more information than what I do, but I don't know if they're going to necessarily cool off like that. And I like how Joseph Schmo said this in the chat. He's like, yeah, okay, Farcoin transactions are going to be down. Dog with hat transactions might be down.
I can't accept that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, I think Ethereum, obviously, we talked about the Genius Act. They also have the deal with JPM and American Express as well, too. So I think that's going to be really, really positive for this name. And I like the lower guide, to be honest with you. I like the lower guide, Sharif, because I think it gives them the opportunity to come in with a big beat, and I think that may be the case. We also talked about the rotation, possibly from Coinbase into more of an all-in-one platform where you can trade all of these vehicles in just one platform. In Robinhood, you got your options trading, your futures trading. You can trade now crypto, where you can always trade cryptocurrency, opposed to Coinbase is just necessarily a one-trick pony, is just strictly crypto-based currency. So yeah, I think that's my opinion on it. I think things will start to pick up and ramp up eventually, but I do like the cooler forecast because that's going to give them a good opportunity to beat, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's like having lower expectations.
Exactly.
Adara, I put this question to you, I think on Friday or Thursday. I said to you, does Coinbase's report kind of put concerns given what we saw with Robinhood and SoFi? But as Joey mentioned there, and as you mentioned last week, they're not really in the same category exactly.
No, I don't think they're in the same category. I also think that what that analyst said about like Coinbase in terms of retail investors not really being interested in these types of assets anymore, I don't know how true that is. However, I will say that in terms of trading, like less so platforms and more as trade vehicles, I think SoFi and Robinhood are a lot more in favor than a name like Coinbase. So I actually am going to agree with his point, but maybe not quite as how he intended. Now, in terms of the Coinbase daily chart, since their earnings, they have bounced like beautifully off 310. I went back to the daily chart for this. As you can see, 310 was temporary resistance going back to April 4th, so this is basically Liberation Day. We also had some resistance around this level going back to 2021, which was when they IPO'd. So 310, huge level for Coinbase. Furthermore, they have not been able to get back above their earnings AVWAP. Today, they literally bounced off 310, went to the earnings AVWAP around 324, and then came right back, and now they're chopping around. So for me, Coinbase is kind of a no-go, at least as like an intraday trade, until it makes up its mind between these levels. In the meantime, I'm not going to want to put my coin there, truthfully. But yeah, I think the other issue too, with regards to guidance, you know, the statement of, oh, maybe they're guiding low so that they can have a massive beat. I think you really have to consider the fact that pretty much the only reason they were profitable is because Circle IPO'd. As I said last week, Circle will not IPO every quarter. In fact, it can only do so once. So I think that is a massive, massive issue, at least I think maybe even just in terms of public perception, that they will have to climb over that hurdle, in my opinion.
But don't you think this the Circle IPO was kind of representative of the demand in retail, or is it representative of the froth?
I think it might be representative. I think regardless what it's representative of a one-time catalyst for Coinbase, because Circle cannot IPO again. So if they're only profitable because of the money they made off of the the Circle IPO, if I was a Coinbase investor, I would probably be concerned. I'm going to be really honest with you, especially with they've just been added to the S&P 500, and they are barely profitable in their first quarter in the SPY, when that is legitimately one of the main things that you have to be to get added. I don't know. I think it's kind of a rough look.
That's a good point. That's
fair. I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade.
Yeah, no, I gotta echo that sentiment as well. Good point, Derek.
You know what? I might have to counter that. I might have to go against the grain on this one.
That's fine. Come at it.
Because listen, we know that Coinbase is one of the pioneers, right? It's one of the grandfather cryptocurrency exchanges. Okay. Just because things are cooling off, we have now all these new hot toys that we're mentioning in SoFi, Robinhood, and Circle. I do think just because of how they've established themselves, that they're still going to have the ability to benefit. And we're not going to talk about this thing from a technical standpoint. Ethereum, Bitcoin, and all these meme coins, people are still going to run to Coinbase, even though you may still have some retail traders and people going to that new hot platform. I do believe that eventually they're going to pick up those numbers just because things are cooling off. Now we have more like regulatory clarity.
Yes,
I
sir.
think that just because things are cool and we have these new hot toys, people will run back to that pioneer, the thing that has established itself in this space over time. And I think Coinbase will rebound eventually.
No,
I wouldn't be too scared of what we're seeing and experiencing right now, especially as there's more adoption to things like USDC via Circle and everything, whatever it may be, these stable coins. I think they're going to benefit from it as well too. It's just a bigger picture. I wouldn't be too afraid of it.
Okay, I think both points are valid.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, we'll have to see what the market does. Guys, I need to interrupt again because VERB is psychotic. It's really breaking out here, guys. So please, I trade this carefully. It's moving dollars at a time, okay? It's dropping from 27 into 26, from 29 now down into 26. So trade it carefully, but it's definitely got a lot of momentum behind it. $29 high day down into 26.52 right now. VERB is the ticker, guys.
One more thing as well, too. Someone made a valid point.
Go for it.
Commissions.
Yes, sir.
Who can have the more competitive commission fee?
Okay.
I think is going to attract a lot of buys.
You don't feel that that could be a race to the bottom? I lower my commission fees to outdo you, you lower to outdo mine, and all of a sudden our margins are crap.
Absolutely, that can definitely be the case as well too. But think about it. So you have TD. TD was $10 a transaction. Then you go into the likes of IBKR where it's 40 cents.
Nothing. Yeah.
They're still pretty competitive companies at the end of the day, right?
That's fair.
So it can totally be a race, but then it can also lead to who can offer me more, and that would be the likes of Robinhood, right? Because you have all the things.
You got everything.
You got everything right there. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sure.
No, that's a good point, Joey. Let's talk about Wayfair because they had a great earnings report today as well. Let's see where W is at right now. It's up 11.84%. I don't think it's at the highs. No, it's not at the highs, but a great report nonetheless. I don't have too much in terms of color. I have a lot of numbers. That's the article that I reviewed today. Didn't give too much in terms of color, but net revenue came in at $3.3 billion, which is a 5% year-over-year increase, or about $156 million more than they printed last year on that top line, excluding the German market. And I don't know why they've isolated the German market. I think it did badly. Revenue would have grown at 6%. So it looks like the Germans, you're holding them back. All right, no, I'm playing. U.S. revenue came in at $2.9 billion, up 5.3%. International revenue was about a little bit less than $400 million, which was up 3.1%. So the U.S. definitely growing more than it is internationally. Their profit, their gross profit, not net, $984 million, representing, though, about 30.1% of the revenue. Not a bad look there to have gross at 30.1%. Reported net income was around $15 million. That's what their take-home money was. Their non-GAAP adjusted EBITDA, 205. Diluted EPS came in at 11 pennies, with non-GAAP adjusted EPS coming in at 87 pennies. So many accounting numbers. Now with the only color item that we have here, the CEO, Niraj Shah, emphasized the leverage in Wayfair's model and called out the highest growth rate they've had since everybody was locked up back in 2021 when everybody was basically taking their money to upgrade their homes. Wayfair was rocketing up at the time. It's their best quarter since 2021, not a bad look. And he goes on to say that management is optimistic about the sustained growth and the profitability going into the second half of this year, Joey. So the market rewarding them today. Wayfair up 11.87, but yeah, you definitely see some lines there about where the revenue's coming in for. Really heavily relying on the U.S. market. Not maybe a bad thing, because the U.S. market is still growing at 3%.
Yeah, I mean, the consumer you want to tap into, that's your number one customer, is the American consumer. That is who you want to get involved with here. Wayfair, not too bad of a look, right? So, well, I mean, this is just, again, a space that I necessarily wouldn't be getting involved in. But from the April lows, Sharif, you can see that we're up approximately 244%. So we traded at a low of around 21.20, and now you're trading to a high of around 73.11. That's some pretty good numbers right there. But if we want to go back, zoom out, and see what we have going on from a bigger perspective, I don't know if there was any form of a split here, but that is, you know,
It's just the pandemic, bro. How many charts look like this, Joey?
Yeah, this is after, right? So 2020 here, boom, and then you get that pandemic sell, the demi sell-off there. But then you just don't do anything essentially for 3 years.
You're in a range for 3 years.
3 years, right? And what is that? What kind of vibe is that giving you? Ford, Intel, just essentially dead money for a long time. You want to wait, and you want more positive quarters. You want them to accumulate. And if the company is continuously growing strong, it's going to give you opportunities to get involved. You just don't want to speculate, and this is just my opinion, just to hope that the quarters are going to get better when they may not necessarily, right?
That's fair. Adara, did it have everything you needed?
I didn't look at the chart at all until just now. I think it certainly had stuff you needed if you paid attention to this beautiful resistance level that we had, like 3 times last week, that 68.50 level. If you got it at 68.50, it certainly had everything you needed. And in fact, it had about, this is like 3.5 points of a move, so that's a great look here, and also not necessarily the type of move you would expect from Wayfair. So solid look. We did kind of just break that downtrend or that uptrend a bit, maybe making a lower high, but not too far off. This certainly could have more to go. I did look into the whole German market aspect. So the reason that was a concern was because they actually exited the German market.
Really?
So that was an impact that they had to absorb. I guess when you don't include the impact from the German market, it was a 6% growth on a year-over-year basis. So I just wanted to address that because I saw that in the report, and that was a thing. I think it's interesting that you have a revenue increase, but actually a decrease here when it comes to your members. I think that's kind of an odd look.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait. Maybe people are just
Which means they probably
more.
have margin expansion of some sort, because how do you get more money with less customers? Obviously, you're charging more. Your price per ticket probably goes up.
Yeah, it's a bit of a head scratcher, I will say that. But I mean, good look here for Wayfair. I'm sure it had everything that someone needed. And I think this is just a case of even with earnings, you can keep an eye on technicals and find opportunities, because I do think that 68.50-ish level was a really good look if that was something you had your eye on. But Sharif, it's not even past the pre-market high. So if it was a small cap, you would not be looking at it.
Oh, dunk on a Madeira. I like that. Good call. All right, let's talk about Chinese EV deliveries. They all reported today. And you may be kind of surprised about some of the winners and losers. Finally, BYD has a bad month. It's not even a bad month. It's just maybe it's in comparison to very good months. So let's talk about BYD, obviously the king of them all there in China. It is the biggest EV maker, far and away now the biggest one in the world as well. They delivered, boys and girls, 341,000 units in July, which is actually down from the 377,628 they delivered in June. It is the first monthly drop month over month this year in deliveries, and deliveries were nearly flat year over year. So when you're comparing this year, how we were exactly this time last year in 24, flat, really highlighting a pause in momentum after the steady gains that we've been seeing for some time now. And the decline follows an aggressive 30% discounts that they were offering on their lower end models. What does that mean to you? Margin compression. And I'll get to, on that in a second, because the Chinese government is very annoyed with their Chinese EV makers. They do not want to race to the bottom. They don't want these companies all consolidating into one, because none of them are making any money and they end up getting bought up by the big names. So the Chinese policymakers have began warning against unsustainable competition in the EV sector and have really kind of tried to persuade, I don't know how they're doing it, but they're trying to persuade these EV companies to stop cutting prices. We'll have to wait and see. Now let's talk about how Li Auto and NIO did. Li Auto, for their part, they delivered 30,731 vehicles. That's down 15% month over month and nearly 40% year over year, marking its second straight monthly drop. Not a good look here for Li Auto as they try to finally weasel into the fully electric lineup. They don't have a fully electric lineup right now. NIO, for their part, they delivered about 10,000 less cars, 21,017 cars. Again, a drop from the June highs where they almost delivered 21,000 vehicles, and a 2.7% drop year over year. A lot better than Li Auto's 40% drop. Li Auto is launching the new Li8 electric SUV, fully electric, so it's not going to be one of these ones where it has a gas engine to charge the onboard batteries. It's not a hybrid system that they're doing over there, guys. The gas engine doesn't power the cars. It just charges the batteries, so you have that full electric acceleration and that whole feel with the EV that you typically get. NIO also launched for their part the L90 SUV on August 1st, a 7-seater variant, expected late September, so not quite out yet, but out for pre-orders. But XPeng is the real winner here, and it has been this way as of late, at least from my observations. They hit a record 36,717 vehicles. It's 9th consecutive month, Joseph, where they've delivered above 30,000 cars per month. Leap Motors also delivered 50,129 units, the best month ever. It's backed by Stellantis. So this Leap Motor company, backed by Stellantis, STLA ticker, and Xiaomi. Xiaomi is my dark horse. It's not even a dark horse for anybody who lives in China, because you guys know all about them. But Xiaomi is like the mother of all electronics. You want a fridge, you want a car, you want a cell phone, you want a microwave, you want a back massager, Xiaomi makes it. And it's kind of like Apple, where they have that ecosystem where they're trying to rope you in. So you have Xiaomi everything. It's a monster company. It's one of the best performing ones, I would say, as of late. And the funny thing is, the CEO tried to model everything off of Apple. So that's kind of in his thinking, hence the ecosystem. Do more research on Xiaomi. It's got the SU7. Fantastic car, fantastic company. More here about Geely and stuff like that, owned by Zeekr. They delivered about 17,000 units. Showing no real change in deliveries month over month, Joey. But what's your look here on the Chinese EVs?
Yeah, you know what, Sharif? I think automaker union or not, the car business is a tough space.
Absolutely. Well said, Joey.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? You can see that displayed. We were talking about the dominance of BYD, and then sure enough, you get down, first month of the year, you got 341 units instead of 377,000. I think it's just an all-around tough space, and just understand what you're getting involved with. This is XPEV from a technical standpoint as well.
Rise, flat bottom break,
not horrible look, right? So again, this can go either way. You get some positive news, and I mean, we were talking about it. They did hit record deliveries, which is a positive sign for this. Is that enough to drive the stock through this downtrend? I don't know. I just think the auto space is just too tough to navigate, in my opinion. And I think there can be money placed in better sectors.
Adira, you have news, so give us the news and then give us your opinion on this.
But BAC struggling here. Barron's reporting that apparently Berkshire Hathaway might have sold more of its Bank of America shares. It's unclear why they think that, but either way, this headline does have BAC struggling a little bit here. Now, yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say. You guys kind of said it all for me. But I will say it's a little bit hard with these Chinese EVs because all the charts really look like this. They gap up, they gap down, they gap all around, they end up somewhere. So regardless of the catalyst, it is a bit of a tough look. That being said, XPeng, just kind of echo Joe here, I think still stands out. This is a gap up and actually maintaining it fairly well. Let's take a look at what NIO did here. NIO actually, I would say less gappy for lack of a better term than some of these other names, but NIO, that's a very ugly chart. If you take a look at Li Auto, this is also much like what you're seeing with XPeng Gap City, but this one actually kind of gapping up despite those weaker numbers and chopping. XPeng seems to be maybe the most bullish here shorter term, but NIO could certainly be fun to trade. We know NIO trades this one sometimes, and I think like this double bottom here that we had back on, what was this? This would have been Thursday, would have been interesting. We certainly broke a lot of that upward momentum we made the last 2 days as of today's session. So NIO seems to be exciting, but I mean, regardless, it seems like these stocks are not necessarily responding to what their delivery numbers are, especially in the case of Li. Now, I think the BYD not being perfect is really an interesting story. We have the same thing with Tesla. We really held this up as on a pedestal. It's the best EV name, and I'm not saying it still isn't, but it has struggled as of late, right? So it makes sense that BYD is having its own struggles. That being said, I need to look more into Xiaomi because that's quite impressive. They were able to deliver that growth even as a company that seems to have their hands in every pie.
Yeah, that's a great point there, Dara. I do agree with that. And BYD's taking it in stride here, up 2%. On the OTC exchange, 2 different BYD tickers you guys can punch into in North America, BYDDY and BYDDF. They're both around the same price now after the split, both around $14.50. One was a lot more expensive than the other there. So have a look at that, BYDDY and BYDDF. Shout out to Jeff Mendel at the OTC exchange. Let's talk a little Boeing here, because yet another issue with labor unions out in Boeing. This time, it's not going to affect the overall company specifically, though. It's going to affect their defense industry. So about 3,200 machinists out in Missouri, Illinois went on strike at midnight, and Illinois, excuse me, I know they're 2 different states, went on strike at midnight after rejecting Boeing's latest 4-year contract offer. The stoppage threatens Boeing's really fragile recovery here, especially in its defense business. Workers had already been operating without a contract for a week now, amid disputes over schedules as well as benefits. And it's not, as I mentioned, as severe as that 2024 walkout that we saw, where about 33,000 workers went on strike in the Pacific Northwest, that basically all but crippled the 737 production, 737 MAX production, excuse me. The 2024 strike also lasted about nearly 8 weeks and ended with a 38% raise and a new contract. This time around, it's the St. Louis facility that's building these key defense systems, including the F-15 and the FA-18 fighter, which comes in many different versions. Now we know about the Super Hornet as well as the parts and munitions for the different supply chain parts. The strike could introduce, a new bottleneck, especially in the military production pipeline for Boeing. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that. And you've got to assume, with all the belligerencies everywhere and all the demand for new military machines, that demand is going to likely ramp up for their defense department. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens there. They went on to say their defense unit has rebounded from past challenges like program overruns and the Starliner delays, which left 2 NASA astronauts stranded and had to be saved by SpaceX. Recent wins include, though, Joey, the next-gen Air Force fighter contract, as well as a satellite deal with the Pentagon, which is kind of enhancing their long-term visibility, but still, union and labor issues do put a bit of a kibosh on some of that.
Big time. And I feel like Boeing just can't get out of its own way for an extended period of time right now. And I mean, it doesn't have too much competition in the commercial airspace, that is, right? You got Airbus and you got Boeing. Those are the 2 planes that you're essentially flying on here. And it really hasn't recovered those highs since COVID. So this is 5 years of just moving in a sideways range. You break out, you come back down, and you just wish around. You're having union issues. You're using dish soap there, and you're using the other things. It's just like, I don't know, man. You just got to get out of your own way, because really, at the end of the day, from a commercial airspace, you don't have that much competition. I forget the union or whatever they use for that specific area, but at the end of the day, for me, Boeing, it's going to need a little bit to get out of this trend, some positive catalysts. There's obviously a lot of demand for the planes as well, too, so they have a massive backlog there. So they just need to really catch up, get everything in order, and eventually, hopefully, they can get back on their merry way and become a really profitable stock, because you can see from 2016 to just before COVID, you're up 252%. But from COVID, which is March here, it was already kind of on the decline. Let me get this. You dropped 72% from those COVID lows.
Crazy. We're not even close.
You're up 164%, but a lot of it is just sideways trading. April is where you really gain all. Yeah, exactly. It's still extremely range bound, 76%. So in a span of a couple of months, you're gaining half of that of what you gained in the past 5 years.
Yeah, that's a great range, man. There's no complaints about that range, obviously, but the company's fundamentals are what's in question. Adira, this is one that you, I don't want to say you monitor closely, but one that you keep your eye out on there.
I do. It's actually one of my Jimmy Carter picks. The irony is that this is the best pick that I had of the ones that we picked in terms of it's the best performing. Now, of course, it's worth noting that my other picks were UNH and Eli Lilly, so we're keeping those in mind. But yeah, I mean, Boeing has been nice for me for the Jimmy Carter day. I do want to mention one factor, and I'm already waiting for the groans or the memes. Kelly Ortberg, the new CEO. He has been with Boeing for almost 1 year as of August 8th, 2024.
Get it,
now,
Kelly.
I bring up this infographic because I want to mention that Kelly Ortberg, if he does this right, this could be a big deal, Sharif. He could be one of only 2 Boeing CEOs to leave the company without a major scandal.
Really?
And to be fair, the only other guy who did it, W. James McNerney, has been called one of the worst CEOs ever in America after the fact, though he didn't leave related to a scandal. So, I mean, I think if Kelly Ortberg can manage that, that's a good look. But as you guys both pointed out, there's a lot of, he inherited a lot of gunk with Boeing, kind of similar to the situation that Lit Bhutan is in with Intel or buying Nichols in with Starbucks. There's a lot of gunk. There's been a lot of CEO transitions that they have to work through. But yeah, you can check this out on X at TTV Research. The only CEO, again, to leave without any scandal or to not be in an interim capacity. There's only one of them. So let's see if Kelly Ortberg can buck that trend. I think if he can, it's a good look for the company's reputation and also for the stock.
Yeah, that's very interesting there. Yeah. Why is this so scandal-ridden? Really.
It's crazy. And most of them are related to, either like weird, sketchy deals or the planes themselves. But one guy, the second dude I have on this list, and I only started in the new millennium. This is like as of CEOs that were in around 2000. But Harry Stonecipher actually didn't leave regarding plane issues. He left because he had a relationship he should not have had within the company, which is something else he has in common with an Intel CEO. So it's interesting. I don't want to compare the companies, but there is that CEO turnover that I think is of note, and hopefully Kelly can stop.
Love it. Joey, tell him.
All right, new traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data. Global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading. Scan the QR code or check the link in the description.
Bang. Your boy D-Wave today got an upgrade. Let's talk about that. So a lot of good things said here about QBTS, a.k.a. D-Wave. Let's just get right into it. So they caught, who'd they catch an upgrade from here? Joey, they got launches. Okay, so they did catch an upgrade from somebody, but I didn't review that one. We'll get to it, though. So D-Wave announced a new hybrid quantum classical toolkit designed to help developers build, train, and deploy machine learning and artificial intelligence using quantum resources. Do I have the upgrade? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that's all I'm going to tell you about that because I don't think most of us understand quantum computing. At least I don't. Here's why they got upgraded by our very good friends at Benchmark. Specifically, David Williams. He reiterated the buy rating on D-Wave, highlighting the strong commercial positioning. Needham also maintains their buy rating on QBTS. With that $20 price target, signaling continued bullish sentiment across the street. And here's why. They say D-Wave is currently the only quantum computing firms with systems in active business use, giving it real-world edge over some of its competitors. It's annealing-based quantum technologies, don't ask me what that is, and integrated full-stack solutions, which includes hardware, software, as well as services, creates a compelling moat, according to them. Their systems are deployed in telecom, automotive, retail, providing measurable real-time cost and efficiency metrics, and the real-world use cases, I should say, and client ROI are key proof points, they go on to say, that differentiate QBTS from the other speculative quantum plays. So QBTS on the day, where you at? Show yourself. Are you up or down on the day? They are 4% in the clear, and they are now $5 1/3 billion market cap, Joey. So a nice little, kind of technology update on what they're doing with machine learning and AI, and a nice little nod there from the analyst.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's 2 of them that you really want to keep an eye out on. That's going to be IonQ and D-Wave, right? So QBTS. I think I really like D-Wave here potentially.
D-Wave.
So yeah, here it is, right? All-time high. And then sure enough, you do get a little bit of a breach of it, but it just seems to be a liquidity grab on that front. But these are a couple of the quantum spaces that I want to be continuously forward-looking in. If you go back all the way to April, that's June. Where is it? June. Where is this April low?
Show yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not even representative of what we kind of felt throughout the process of all that tariff turmoil. But there it is, 239% off of those April lows. to that peak, from trough to peak there, 251 to be exact, and now we're trading around 1649 or whatever it is, so 182%. Not too bad of a look. I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities to get involved in the space, but when steam really starts to get rolling here, then you want to be positioned really well, because this could be the new thing. Everybody talks about crypto. What happens when with Bitcoin when quantum really starts to kick off? Well, you fight fire with fire at the end of the day. So just continue to look out on some of these names. IONQ and QBTS, D-Wave are some of my top picks there.
I like it. Adira, do you like this one better than some of the others, given the real world applications of some of the systems it has deployed so far?
So I'm going to look at it from like a stock perspective, because truthfully, I am not a scientist. I gleefully stopped taking science class when you no longer had to mandatorily take it at the end of grade 10. So I'm not going to get into that. What I will get into is Rigetti, because I actually think, obviously it's not at all-time highs. That is readily apparent. But we are in a nice little uptrend here. We actually double bottom. This is going back to April. Is this April? No, it's not April 25. It's sometime in 2025. I don't know why my chart is frozen in April.
Where am I?
But either way, nice little pattern here. We are in an uptrend. We're making higher highs, higher lows. Obviously, we're not quite back at that 21 level. That looks like the all-time high on our GTI. But I will say that I think this one is pretty exciting from an intraday perspective as well. Mom Spaghetti, as it is often called, is probably one of the ones that we hear requested the most. Right now, obviously not doing too much, but it did have a beautiful move here off the open. So I would say don't scoff at Rigetti. Again, unfortunately, I don't really want to comment too much on the fundamentals because I don't understand them well enough. But I think if you're someone who understands the space, I think do the research, find the one that makes the most sense to you from a fundamental perspective, but make sure you're doing that technical check too, because as we know from when Neil and Obi were on the show on Friday, it looked, or maybe when Obi was on last week with you, Sharif, but we did find through that poll, there's a lot of traders are looking for that beautiful marriage between technical and fundamental analysis. So make sure you
I remember that.
I guess.
I think that's like the solid way to go in. You get the stock that you want by looking at the fundamentals, and then you work in with technicals using the price, right? So I think it absolutely makes sense to use both. Thank you, Adira.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep going on here. Let's talk a little bit about Spotify. So I guess it was popping up after that kind of weaker than expected earnings report last week. Yeah, we're up 6.5%, just shy of that level today on Spotify. And as I was reading this article, I was very, very motivated to go into my phone and cancel the subscription, because they already raised prices twice last year, Joseph, on Canadians. And they're talking about another price increase. So I was looking at the jurisdictions who were going to raise their prices, because I was getting very cancel ready right now. And I was, I didn't even know what I was going to do. It was probably working the Apple Music there. I got 90 days free on that bad boy. But anyway, let's talk about what Spotify is doing today. They will raise the monthly price for their premium individual plan up to €11.99, which is about $13.86. That's up from $10.99 beginning in September. They didn't give the exact date. The hike applies to markets including South Asia, the Middle East, Africa, Europe, Latin America, and Asia Pacific region. You're lucky I didn't see North America on there. The company aims to bolster margins amid rising operational expenses. What are you spending more on, Spotify? I want to know. Last month, they issued weaker than expected forecast for Q3 and missed key metrics in its Q2 earnings report. And we saw what happened. They got shellacked. Total finance costs in Q2 soared over six-fold year over year, Joseph. What the hell are they spending money on over there? Up to 447 million euros, driven by, we got the answer to our question super quick over here, personal expenses, professional expenses, marketing investments. Tells me nothing. I hate these general headlines. The move to increase subscription fees is likely indirect response to these pricing pressures, Joey. So something we see them doing often, maybe once every year, 2 years or so, but they're really getting very happy with it lately.
I can tell you what those personal expenses are. That's yachting in Monaco and everything along those lines.
Now the stuff that comes with yachting.
Right, exactly. So
you know what that is.
There it is. No, as for Spotify, I mean, they got to stop paying Joe Rogan's whatever, $300 million or whatever that guy just got for that.
That's exactly what Brendo said this morning.
What?
Exactly what Brendo said.
Is that what he said?
Because they gave him $300 million, and then it's on YouTube at the same time. Like, what the hell is the point of that?
So, okay, so there it is. It's on YouTube at the exact same time. Someone made a fantastic point in the chat as well, too. YouTube Premium is less, and you get everything. You get everything. You type it in with that. So, for me personally, I'm an Apple Music guy. Right in the chat, Apple Music or Spotify, right? That's what we want to see what you guys are. You think so?
I think so,
A lot of people are Spotify, so put it in the chat. There you go. Katina Man's, that's how you know real feels real, man.
You got Apple Music there, Katina Man?
Apple Music, so put it in there.
Katina Man.
Apple Music or Spotify.
Okay.
Which one are you rocking right now?
It's all included, the Katina Man says.
In what? I pay $11 a month for that thing.
Bro, he's got VIP
status. Sorry, I forgot about that one there. He's got the VIP status. Yeah. So he's the
YouTube. You're getting a mix there, Joey. You got YouTube, Spot, Apple.
Well, I mean, YouTube Premium, it comes with all the music that you want. It caches the songs onto your platform for you. So that works out.
There you go.
And then you have all the YouTube videos as well. But just from a technical standpoint, guys, we'll take a look at Spotify from these April lows as we always do, because that's kind of when the world changed right there.
Okay.
Donald says buy stocks. So what do? You buy stocks. So you're up 66% from that point right there. But other than that, just continuously increasing the subscription price. I don't think that's going to be a lot. You have individuals like Sharif who's already thinking about jumping ship and heading over to Apple or to something else. There's definitely more people along those lines.
Can I say something to you?
Absolutely.
I got YouTube Premium for free because my buddy's got it. He gets it from his work, so he just put me on the account. So you get you get music with YouTube Premium.
Exactly. And it saves all the videos for you.
And I haven't moved it over because all the playlists and stuff are on Spotify.
Yeah,
Do you have any idea how long that's going to take me?
That's going to take a while.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it takes a while, right? It takes a while to kind of jump. But for me personally, that's why I never kind of switched over. I had decades of music.
Yeah.
10, 15
it just
years,
takes
whatever.
forever.
When did I buy my first iPhone? How old was I when I bought the 4?
I don't want to hear about any more of your iPhone experiences after last.
That was a good one, man. I used to be the video guy on the iPhone because I had.
Talking about last week's
I know,
experience.
but I'm saying I'm bringing back up the good times when iPhone 4 came out, right? It was one of the hotter phones, right? Yeah. And I was the guy who made all our videos and did all our high school party videos and everything like that. So yeah, how old was I? 17 probably at the time when I got the 4. Yeah, 17, 18, yeah.
Adira, you have a very unique way of consuming music that most of us don't anymore, but completely valid.
Tell them about that.
So I was
Adira.
waiting for you guys to bring this one up. In case people do not know, I do not use Spotify. I don't use YouTube Music, though I do listen to some music on YouTube. I don't have Apple Music.
Tell them why, Adira.
iTunes. So iTunes, yes, that's right. You can still download songs for 99 cents, 69 cents, or $1.29 per song, or you can get albums. Now, why I like doing this, not that it's that relevant, but I'll explain now, is because I have tons of playlists and stuff. I really like to curate playlists, and if I have access to every song in the universe, I will spend, and I am not joking, hours making playlists, which I already do with only a limited amount of songs, so I don't need that in my life. But yeah, I think the other thing too is I don't have to have a subscription. If I want to buy a song or an album, if I think it's that good, I can just buy the song or an album. So with that in mind, the Spotify, the fundamental aspect of this is not something that I am super good to follow, but I do love that 620 hold on this from earnings day one is crazy. If it breaks below that, as someone who trades spready tickers, oh boy. So that's something I'm going to certainly be keeping an eye on. I am just seeing a bit of a drop here in the market, though I'm not seeing any catalyst for it. But yeah, I think I don't want us to talk too long so I can get the news here. Spotify certainly on a bit of a downtrend from this most recent high. Looks like in June of that 780 level. Definitely. Lower highs, lower lows since then. If we break 620, I don't think it's a great look. But hopefully, for Sharif's sake and for the sake of everyone else who uses Spotify, that price increase doesn't come to North America quite yet.
Thank you, Adira, for the good juju there. All right, let's talk about a Fed shakeup possibly in the works as Fed Kugler looking to step down. And so Donald obviously gets to fill her position. Let's talk about it. So Federal Reserve Governor Adriana Kugler announced her resignation on Friday, effective this fall. I don't think we have an exact date. She will return to her academic post at Georgetown. Her term was scheduled to end in January anyway. She had served on the FOMC since September of 2023 as a Biden appointee. Very strategic timing, obviously, for your friend Donald over there, as her departure opens up a key seat in the Federal Board of Governors amid rising political pressure, obviously, from your friend, this guy over here, Donald, to cut these rates. Trump welcomed the vacancy, claiming without evidence that Kugler had left due to disagreements with Fed Chair Powell over interest rates. As I love Donald. Adara says she doesn't think so. You're going to get your chance, Adara. Hold up. Trump is expected to nominate someone aligned with his pro-rate cut stance. Not surprised there. What are the implications of this, obviously? Kugler was a permanent voter of the FOMC, but was absent during last week's rate decision. Dum-dum. Two Trump appointees, Waller and Bowman, as we know, dissented at the meeting, preferring to lower rates instead of holding them steady, contrasting with the majority's decision. Adara has news. We're going to pause for a second.
Yeah, I just want to quickly let you guys know, PEW or Grab a Gun Digital Holdings spiking a bit here. This company is very active on social media to the point where they once legitimately just pumped the stock on X. Today, though, they've actually just posted that they're congratulating Sydney Sweeney on the American Eagle campaign, and they're saying if Sydney Sweeney ever wants to do anything like that, I guess in the gun space, Grab a Gun would be thrilled to team up. Let's make it happen. So basically, yeah, solicitation here for Sydney Sweeney from Grab a Gun. Let's see if she takes them up on the offer. But either way, PEW, big pop. This, it's also worth noting this company is very active on social media. And again, they have legitimately just pumped the stock before. Thank you.
No, stop.
Absolutely.
Stop,
Round of applause.
Stop,
Get it,
man.
Sydney. Get it.
The market has hit
Don't
an
worry about the
all-time
market's
low.
doing, bro.
It's hit an all-time low.
Don't worry about
the fact that
market's doing.
Sydney Sweeney can
give her a
influence
break.
a break.
Give her
She
a
doesn't
break,
need
but
a
she has
break.
something to do with the
it.
market.
That's crazy.
You're crazy. You're trying to
Sharif,
blame it on
no,
Sydney Sweeney?
Absolutely.
What the
That's
hell is
insane.
going on?
How does this individual have any influence on what the market is doing? It's absolutely
I just
insane.
like that it
We've
riles
lost
you
it.
up.
We've lost
I just
it.
love that it riles you up, bro.
For any cause, you know what? I'm done, man.
I love it. Adara, you got a super chat, by the way. Adara, have them give you $2 to buy a song on me. Shout out to Theo. I believe that is their name there. I can't see the full name. Thank you very much for that super chat. But we got to finish the story that we were talking about. The voting implications, obviously, as Fed Kugler looks to step down this fall. Not even that early. I mean, she was going to leave in January anyway, so I don't think it makes much of a difference here. Shadow chair talk, though. Let's talk about that, because that's really what the market needs to price in. Who the Fed president is going to be. Trump and advisors have floated installing a shadow chair, someone who could push Trump's rate agenda ahead of Powell's term ending in May of next year, even if Powell stays on as governor through 2028. We know Trump now has a chance to shape the board's majority. So I think that, with much like the Supreme Court in his last term, with Amy Coney Barrett coming in at the end there, he has a chance to shape what the FOMC will be for a little while there, Joey. So any comments on the FOMC?
Yeah. I mean, so now we're pricing in a 90% cut coming in the September decision here. I know that job creations have been coming in significantly cooler than expected. Is it time to cut? You have GDP at 3%. I think the economy is still robust and strong, but obviously job creations can be somewhat of an issue. But is a quarter point cut going to be enough to kind of revamp job creation? I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. And how low do you want rates to go, considering that I don't think we still felt the full effects of tariffs?
Yeah, you're talking about the NFPs coming a little bit later.
Exactly. Non-farm payrolls, exactly. So.
All right, Adara, you had very strong opinions about Kugler. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm a little amused by Trump's take that Kugler left because she didn't agree with Powell's opinion, because if you actually read her recent statements or her headlines within the last 2 weeks, which you guys know me, of course I did. I mean, in general, like the last month or so as well, but specifically leading up to her resignation announcement, she's very much been on the side of Powell. A lot of these other Feds, Bostic has also been pretty notably on the same side as Powell. And I'm not saying that they don't have their own opinions. I'm just saying that the opinions they've expressed have echoed those of Fed Chair Powell. So the idea that she's leaving because of some kind of dissent from the overall opinion, A, is interesting given the fact that those who did dissent made that very clear, and B, that does not at all back up what she's been saying. Now, I think her timing for leaving is interesting. It's not like she left for a new job. She is legitimately going back to the job she previously held. I did look this up. She's going to be the professor at the same school. And she said that in her resignation as well. Also, Strafe, you were wondering when she actually leaves. It's August 8th. So it's literally as of this Friday. Her resignation, like she's hightailing it out of the Fed, which is pretty wild. It does say so on her letter, which is posted on the FOMC website. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. She didn't even serve for 2 full years. Her position began September 13th, 2023. Here she is. So this infographic is going to have to get updated because there will be a new governor on the board of governors. But either way, if you want to look at these visuals or other content on the Fed, the market, earnings, etc., check us out on X at TTV Research. We all know I get really excited about new Fed, so I'm pleased as punch to see who they add, because we did know Scott Bessent as well out and out said whoever they get to fill that position, and that was also like before she even resigns. That would be as of January 2026. Now we know it's getting earlier. He said that whoever was chosen to fill that position would be likely silently auditioning for the new role. Now that they're coming even earlier, the Trump administration is going to have even more time to see how they like the individual. So this could be massive.
Do you think her not showing up last week had something to do with the upcoming departure?
That's interesting too. That's something that slipped my mind. I wonder if she kind of had some kind of qualms, if there was internal discord at the Fed that we are not aware of. I mean, you guys know me. If I can find out any information on this, I can and I will. But it's going to be hard to find out just given how the Fed works. I'm curious. I think regardless if there's a shadow chair or not, Fed Chair Jerome Powell, he's a pretty cool customer. I don't think he's going to get that rattled. That is my honest opinion. I think if he was going to be rattled, he'd probably be rattled while wearing hard hats, and we saw that he was not.
I love it. Way to leave it off, Adara. All right, let's get now to the most important story of the day.
Hold on.
This is
let me cover
no. Let me
cover super chat.
All right, hurry up, man. We don't have a lot of time.
I saved everyone here. Can you run over AMD's options chain? How can I milk this for 5 minutes? All right, let's see how it goes. I'm only joking. Options chain, AMD.
What a guy, bro. What a hater, bro. What a
I'm not
hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm playing.
My
I'm
God.
only joking, man. Shout out to White Lotus season 1.
Ram, where's it at, bro?
Yeah, what happened to that?
It's giving her issues.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
She's in a mood
Yeah,
today,
I'm not buying what she's selling. Anyways, 7.6% expected move here on AMD, guys. For some reason, I didn't have the ability to pull up this week's expiration cycle. Okay. I don't know why it wasn't. It only gave me next week's there, so 11 days.
You're on the clock, Joey. We got to get the story done before 2
we'll get it through here. I won't slowly go through this. 180 is that high level of open interest. What else can I look at here?
Bring it back over your ass,
No, I'm only playing.
You can't let him do that.
Tomorrow earning report, we're looking at about a 7% expected move. Nothing substantial. 180 is a target you want to keep an eye out on, and then also 200 because you have 15,000. That would be phenomenal if AMD moved up to that level there.
All right, let's talk about American Eagle and what is happening with AEO. So stock, where's it at right now? We're up 22% today after President Donald Trump backed an ad featuring influencer. Why are they calling her influencer? She's an actress. She's a very, very sophisticated actress. Sydney Sweeney.
All right, name one movie.
I'm not done talking yet, bro.
Name one movie.
Talking. I don't know. I have no idea, bro. I've never seen any of her movies. I'm not going to pretend to lie. Shares briefly hit their highest level since July 13th, closing up 18%. We'll have to keep an eye. So there's a campaign featuring real American jeans. The Sydney Sweeney was launched on July 23rd. Trump posted the ad on Truth Social, praising it with great jeans. We love American Eagle, he wrote. The ad shows Sweeney discussing how jeans reflect confidence and personality. Jeans here, I'm assuming, is being used as a double entendre, right? There's backlash and accusations being made about this campaign. Social media backlash erupted online, with some users labeling the ad as promoting white supremacy and eugenics. Critics pointed to a scene showing Sweeney with her hair dyed blonde and eyes blue, drawing political racial scrutiny. How dare she have blonde eyes, blonde hair and blue eyes, that animal. So keep going here. Monday's bounce follows the ad gaining renewed attention thanks to Trump's endorsement. And the ad message apparently focused on jeans. So American Eagle says the ad's message is solely about jeans and celebrates how jeans empower Gen Z's self-expression, according to the company. The company emphasized Sweetie's confident, youth-facing appeal, Joey, and sales of AE rose year over year in both stores and online channels, with online visits up 17.5%, Joseph, after the campaign, with Bloomberg second measure reports 19% traffic surge to their website a week following the launch. Comments, Joseph Wilson.
So I'm just looking on somewhere on the chart where I can start shorting this name here. Because this is absolutely insane. I don't know how much substance is to this. Obviously, she has a big impact on some of the youth, the younger kids like her, but it's not sustainable, to be honest with you. She's not going to turn the company around single-handedly. As for this retail space, Sharif, in all seriousness, look at American Eagle from a longer duration.
Where
you can go from the weeks, right? So. I mean, no, flat top if anything, right? But you're still down 40% from these March of 24 levels and everything along those lines. Again, I could be so wrong, and if I am wrong, I will buy Sharif a pair of American Eagle jeans. But at the end of the day,
At what point are you wrong?
Right. As soon as you get back to here, pause. Yeah.
So if AE breaks, what is that? 20 bucks?
We'll call it $26.
$26?
Yeah, 26.
By when?
By as a matter of fact, I'll let you pick the timeline. That's how confident I am in this.
Okay, let's go end of year.
Would
that be good?
My friend, okay, so what is that on for me? What do I get?
I'm not doing anything. You're the one that's saying it. I'm just calling you out over it.
Okay, all right, no problem. So there it is. If American Eagle breaks that $26 by the end of the year, I will buy you a pair of whatever Sydney Sweeney jeans.
No, I was going to say you can buy them, then you can make them into 4-inch shorts for the gym, too. I thought that would be sick.
I'll make 2 pair. Get 2 pair of those.
All right, we're over time, but we got to get Adara's input on this as well.
No, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but that's
because I actually have a lot of opinions on this. I think the PEW, the fact that Grab a Gun got involved in this is hilarious to me. So in case you guys missed it, I just reported this like literally probably 10, 15 minutes ago. Grab a Gun, it tags Sydney Sweeney on X, is like, hey, if you want to get involved in Grab a Gun and advertise for us, let us know.
Oh my God.
So yeah, PEW just shamelessly trying to shill for Sydney Sweeney. But I think what's interesting too, Sharif, with regards to what you said, the backlash was in terms of the jeans thing. There was an ad this week, I think it was this weekend or late last week as well, with Gavin Castellano, who probably no one has heard of, but he stars in The Summer I Turned Pretty.
I saw
my
the
sister's
King of
favorite
Summer
show.
or something like that?
The Golden Summer.
I saw that. People are freaking out about that one too.
They're freaking out about the gene implications in that as well, because he does mention the word genetics. It's also really funny because it's like this Golden Summer drink. His show is called The Summer I Turned Pretty. I think it's, it is what it is, but I think it is pretty wild that this controversy has now come up twice in a matter of 2 weeks. We'll have to see if Sydney Sweeney does take Grab a Gun off when they're offering grab that money as well. But yeah, good look here. Pew, 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 I guess. To the haters is saying AEO's stock, and I'm going to stop now because I don't know what I'm saying.
Thank you for that hot fire,
It's an all-time low for the market, even though we're hovering around the highs. Anyways,
I can't believe this guy. Why are you so bent out of shape about this?
Man. At the end of the day, it's absurd. It's absurd. It's absolutely insane. All right. But we got a couple super chats here before we send it up. Before we send it off. My guy Stevenson, Etienne, shout out to Trader TV. We are printing shmoney. There you go. You get that money storm right there, my friend. $5 super chat. I'm not going to read the first half of this one comment there from Alfredo's Options Trades. We'll go right into that one. Adara, if you want to take a read on that one, feel free to do so. Joe, why did the VIX Leaps calls move the same as buying outright? I have no idea on that one. Calls move the same as buying outright. I'm not too sure what you mean by that, my friend. And the leaps would be more than a year out. You got that move up into 22. Other than that, things started to cool off as the market started to climb higher today. You got that inverse correlation, right? So you want the VIX to climb higher. That means the market is moving southeast, and that's not the case for today's session, guys.
All right, guys, 203.13.